But hi, Misfit. Good to see you. There we go. How are we doing today? Let's see, we'll move over here. Perfect. Ah, Saitsuki! Hi, Random Car Nerd, it's good to see you! Welcome, welcome! Saitsuki, Car Nerd, and the Misfit. It's very good to see you all. I have a question for you guys. Is this thing up here too loud? Let me know if it's too loud. Have you guys had a good Father's Day? It's okay, in my opinion, could be a little bit quieter. Oh, okay. And that's no worries. I was trying to do like a sample of that earlier. Let's see if we get that. How's that? Oh goodness. It lagged a little bit. It didn't like that I went to VR chat as the main thing. It's too quiet now. Oh, whoops. Way too entertaining for my ADHD brain. That's funny. So it's too quiet. Okay, so that's 19 decibels. If we change that to like 16, is that any better? What the heck was Firecat? Oh, the burgers! You got to have the burgers, didn't you? Okay, good. Thank you, Misfit. Alright, buddy. Talk to you later, Misfit. Thank you for stopping by for a little bit. I want to try to use this timer a little bit more often. It was made in like, how many days? More like hours. I think it took about like 4 or 5 hours to make. How were those blue cheese burgers, by the way? Very good. Oh, goodness. That's good to hear. I think my dad wound up putting together some blue cheeseburgers at one point. It's very well, because you wouldn't think that you would taste blue cheese when you're in there, but, like, honestly, it tastes pretty good. Like, it's just enough flavor to actually get something with sustenance. It's already 5 minutes. How did that happen? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. I think slightly past because it was struggling a little bit. Did you wind up doing anything for Father's Day, Random Car Nerd? It's as they say, time flies when you're having fun. Oh my gosh. Time flies when you're having fun, and time flies when you're a little bit nervous. But I think we're gonna have a good time, to be honest. I was like doing a little bit of homework on it, and I did like a run through last night. It was good. I think we'll be okay. But I think the run through is gonna be a lot. Like, it's not even gonna be scratching the surface, to be honest, because now we have friends. We got friends that we're gonna hang out with, and it's gonna be great. It'll be way more fun. Plus, to redeem this. Saitsuki. Oh my gosh. The sour spray. Also, by the way, okay, so in VR chat, it's a little bit different. I don't have like all the hats that I do as like the Kindle e-reader tablet. I have like 3 different ones you can pick from. We've got the top hat, we've got a cowboy hat, and we've got this one. This one's my regular hat. Sour spray is indeed a thing. To answer your question, yes, I got burgers for lunch, and we are getting takeout for dinner. Ooh, very delicious. Our family went to a pretty good place. Lots and lots of meat is probably a good way to say it. I don't remember the exact name of it, but we had lots of meat. Very delicious. Much carnivore. I'm gonna put like the camera like right there. Do this. Oh, that's the photo camera. We want the streamer camera. Boop. There we go. I don't know, mate. I've never had Chinese takeout before. Really? Dang, man. We've had Chinese takeout before. Not too bad. We got like a place that's like really close to where we are, and like you can easily get that stuff. Although you want to watch out for like MSG. If you have like MSG, it's gonna be it can definitely make you feel very full when you have that kind of stuff. MSG, by the way, is like it's a type of chemical that goes into some of the Chinese food. So you probably wouldn't be able to escape it if you had it. So just you'd want to be reserved with your food. Fitting for what you... Oh my gosh. The yin yang. How? 1 minute 50? That happened. Dang, man. Hey, can I join you? Unfortunately, I can't at the moment, buddy. But it's good to run into you. You can talk here if you want. The only reason that I'm not letting people in right now is because my computer is running at a crisp 21 frames per second. We are scratching this so hard to make sure that we can make this possible. So unfortunately, just due to like technical limitations, I won't be able to do it. I apologize. I think one thing that I could do theoretically to help reduce the load is that if I do another stream, maybe not have such a very intense backdrop here. This is a whole VR chat world. We could have like a green screen behind me, or just have this transparent here, and then that way I would have like way less. I could just go to Prismix and then just do it there, but it would actually look like I'm doing something. Just have some kind of zoom background. Microsaturated something or something. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure what it stands for. Brother, if you absolutely need to, I can mail you my laptop. Nah, you're good. To be honest, this is my gaming PC, so it's running at all 4 cylinders right now. It uses a 2070 Super. I could potentially, like, get my Steam Deck involved somehow. Like, instead of having this timer set up, like, on the computer, I could have it run on the Steam Deck instead, and then that way we can go. We're, like, almost there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, etc. We did it! We're here! It's good to see you guys! We all finally made it! 4, why not 8? I'm confused. 8 cylinders, oh. Well, to be fair, I have like a Hyundai Elantra. That winds up being a 4 cylinder, so I've got 4 cylinders. In theory. Thank you, Saisuke, for the hydrate. You actually caught me. I don't normally play VR chat, so like my water bottle's like all the way over there on the other side of the room. I should give everybody like a formal welcome. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad you were able to stop by. This is a slightly different stream than what I would normally do, but I thought, you know, try something a little bit different. Overall, I think there's a lot of things we could do with this type of format. I don't actually get a chance to really go super deep with everybody all at once into something. So I think if we wind up making use of this, we can have a very interesting platform to check out all sorts of different topics and stuff. For today, we actually have ourselves the topic of pizza, one of the best foods that are out there, period. And I could be a little bit biased just because I have a lot of pizza restaurants surrounding the area, so I wound up having a lot of pizza as a result. It's pretty good. 8-cylinder, okay, the same question. With that out of the way, somebody said they got me some water, so I'm going to go ahead and go this away to get some water. I might crumple up in the process, so 1 second. There we go. Thank you, Saisuke. That was very good. Okay, so let's hope and pray that our computer doesn't crash, and let's see how things go. Okay, so if we start here, we have a lot of different main topic points, but what's very exciting is that we get to talk about the history of pizza. That's where we wind up starting. To begin, we actually have a trivia question. Now, this is making use of something that I created called Trivia Vortex. To make use of the Trivia Vortex, it's very simple. Simply type in an answer in chat, and that's going to be either A, B, C, or D. When you wind up using that answer, it will be registered into there, and you'll see a series of questions. They'll be labeled A, B, C, and D. But that's how you wind up answering your question. And that way, you'll be able to enjoy the trivia. So here's the first question that we wind up having. This is basically about the origins of pizza, right? So back then it wound up starting pretty far down. You'd be surprised in how far pizza actually wound up being originated from. Pizza is one of the most popular food choices in the world, but have you ever wondered how old pizza really is? When were some of the first pizza-like foods ever made? What you gotta do is just answer the question with A, B, C, or D. That had no answers on it. But the answer to that question was C. 600 BC. This started in Persia, where they put cheese and dates on top of flatbread. They also used their shields in war to act as plates. Greece also did something very similar. We'll try to go for that next time. Whoops. Refresh the page there. I do laundry for one. Whoops. No worries. I kind of jumped a gun on it a little bit. That was supposed to be a radio, I presume. But yeah, no. So pizza wound up starting around 600 PC. It was very interesting because like you have little remnants, right, of like flatbread, dates, and cheese. It was interesting because like you wind up having a combination of all those things. You'd probably bake them like in the oven or something like that. And that's kind of how it wound up starting. One of the things that one of my friends wound up saying at one point is that a lot of innovations actually start in war. It's kind of a strange thing, but you kind of see something very similar, right, with computers. With computers, I think, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Charles Babbage. He was the guy who wound up creating something called the 10-digit computer, and that was able to help wind up defeating the war. In similar sense, you wind up having something like a pizza that's very similar. You have yourself some good ingredients, such as the cheese and the dates and all that. You combine it, you have something really good. And what's interesting too is that I was actually trying to do some research a little bit, and it seemed like not one particular person actually created the pizza. This is something really cool because pizza winds up being a decentralized kind of food. That means essentially many people around the world across many generations wound up actually putting together pizza in many different forms. So you have yourself Greece, you got yourself the other places, even places like Spain and America. They wound up eventually creating what we have as the pizza today. We go over here. Apparently, yeah, so late in medieval times, it actually started to be called pizza. So it's a little bit later, beyond like 600 BC, you get to the points where you have the knights and everybody over there, and you have pizza there. Okay, so this one's an interesting one. Tomatoes. Tomatoes about pizza. With tomatoes, it actually has a very interesting history. You have people from like Spain that winds up importing tomatoes directly over to the Americas. The Americas were able to take it pretty well, and they were able to make use of it. I think even they wound up cultivating tomatoes and evolving it enough to where we actually use the same kind of tomatoes today for our local pizza. However, there was another country that wound up hearing about tomatoes, and they wound up using it a little bit differently than the others. And that actually has another trivia question to go with. If we go over here. Oh, there we go. I accidentally hit it early. Let's see. So while the Spanish and Americans enjoyed the tomatoes, over in Europe, only the poor used tomatoes to innovate pizza. That leaves with a strange question. Why did Europeans fear tomatoes? It's a very strange question. But yes, if you want to answer this question, you have A, B, C, or D. Hopefully Saitsuki can actually get it this time. He's not laundrying. Yay! Good job! Only a few seconds to spare too. Not bad. You guys are real smart too, because that was the correct answer. They thought they were poisonous. I'm glad they took it like drinking Kool-Aid though. Pizza never tasted quite the same again. Which is a weird thing for me to say. You don't necessarily want to drink Kool-Aid, but still. Tomatoes wound up being a very integral part of pizza as we know it. So doing the laundry but was ready this time, nice. I also thought this one was weird when I learned about it, not gonna lie. Yeah, no, it's strange because like over time you would think that like tomatoes would be like this natural thing that would come across, but like no, doesn't seem like it was the case. I honestly, in some cases, you'd probably get stuff like ketchup and other things as well. It's fascinating. I mean, now that I think about it, like when you have salsa, we actually went to a Mexican restaurant that had salsa. It was called salsa, but it was weird because it was like diced tomatoes along with some other spices of things. But it's not like liquefied or anything like that. It was very strange. But like, if we think about it that way, perhaps the recipe was something that was handed down from like generations. That could be a very potential outcome from it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose that does make sense. Another thing too, that's like, to be able to concentrate and make something like tomato sauce as well, it's much different than just, simply slicing the tomato. Later down the road here, we're actually going to be talking about different types of pizzas here. And I almost forgot, I actually have a slideshow that we can show. One of them is the margarita pizza, where actually you don't have tomato sauce at all. So it's very interesting to see where like pizza winds up evolving much later afterwards. So let's see here. Actually, let's go to sources right now. I meant to show this earlier. Oh. Okay, so I wanted to say this earlier. I completely forgot to say. But if you guys want to know who actually wound up giving me the idea for this stream, that's the guy right there. His name is Iron Jimmy. He's somebody that I greatly trust in our community. I wound up talking to him about a project that I wanted to do at some point, and it's very similar to this. I won't go into like the super details, but he was like, if you want to do something like that, you could do it now. So, to bestow upon his amazement, here is the Jimmy in all of his glory. Such a beautiful piece of photography. I know, right? He did it right there in Discord. It's beautiful. Clearly, they knows is what is best. Yes. Yes, there's the guy. There's the guy that gave you the idea. This is the wrong picture. They're supposed to start out with this one. It's basically the stream about pizza. But there you go. That's my friend Iron Jimmy. We had a good talk that day. Eventually I want to do a lot more stuff that is interactive like this, but he was like, you know, if you could do something like this, you'd get like experience and all of that. So I was kind of really digging that. I think it was a good idea. Hi, Kyber! It's good to see you! Welcome to the stream. It's good to talk about pizza if you want to hang out. We now need the guy emoji and yes! Yes! Oh my gosh, that's genius. Would you like to VC after stream? I'd like to show you something. That could be a possibility, but it may have to be after I talk to another person. Because actually, there is somebody who we just recently promoted to moderator for this stream. He's not here at the moment. He's playing VR chat. But his name is Starcross. Starcross wanted to help out some way. He was like, can I help you somehow? And I was like, sure. If you want, you can do some moderation. So we're going to give him a crash course on how Twitch moderation works. And then for the next time he wants to do something, he'll be able to know how. The reason why is that because he wants to become a streamer as well. And he's been putting his stuff together on his own computer in order to do the same thing. Oh, goodness. Yes, it's good to talk to you too. We're talking all about pizza. This is the main topic for today. But if we wind up having a lot of time later down the road here, we can also talk about just about anything you want too. We'll have to see how it goes. But yes, no, I fully agree. Now that needs to happen. Car nerd. That's amazing. I didn't think about that. Here's the guy. Kyber, this is the guy who suggested this stream idea. Whoa! Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's go back to our notes, shall we? We're talking about tomatoes. We wound up talking about tomatoes and the fact that, yeah. So back in the day, oh yeah, that was the main topic. So tomatoes, they were considered actually a very poisonous thing to the upper class of people. It was very strange the fact that they wound up doing that. But I was thinking about it, and to be honest, the internet didn't exist back then. So when it came to it, it's like you have a rumor that goes down to rumor. Like one example that I think about that is, what's it? Whenever you leave meat out on the table, it would create flies. Not like make them born or anything, just they come out of nowhere. That was like one of those same rumors that happened in like medieval times. So like, it's interesting because you have humans that are thinking, okay, based off of this behavior, it seems to do this thing. But I don't know if we had a concept of like, okay, flies cannot just spontaneously like spawn in like in Minecraft. It's kind of a strange, thing. Spontaneous generation yeah. It was very interesting to say the least. We'll go back to this one. If we wind up talking about that, Kyber, we can discuss more about that later down the road. But let's see. Yeah, that seems to be the main part. But it's fascinating because like you have a lot of times when like back in the day you had the different classes. You had people that were categorizing food as like safe or unclean or stuff like that. But it was because they did not like the tomatoes and they were thinking, oh, this is gonna kill me. They threw it out. But it's because they threw it out and other people wound up inheriting it that wound up creating pizza how it is today. That's so crazy because like, think about it. Butterfly effect, all right? If you decide to do one thing, but maybe you decide not to do another, that still winds up causing major ripple effects in space-time. What happened was that the upper class did not wind up using the tomatoes, but the lower class did. And so as a result, it changed pizza because pizza wound up being what they called the poor man's food back in the day. That's something that, like, I don't know if I think it's somewhere in my notes, but that's what they were talking about with regards to how pizza was put together. It was street food is how they were calling it. Let's see. I like to spontaneously generate my persona IRL and then hug her. Oh, that's completely valid. My gosh. It would be amazing. Unfortunately, that cursed thing called science has proved that spontaneous generation is not a thing. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not the case. In Minecraft, you could do a little bit of that, but even in Minecraft, think about it this way. You still aren't creating something out of nothing in Minecraft. You have essentially memory and resources. Because, okay, when you say /spawn cow, that cow isn't just gonna pop out of nowhere. It's gotta go, okay, memory address to the cow. Okay, how do we store the cow? Okay, here, how do we wind up generating the cow? So it's not being created out of just like raw resources. It's CPU power and the logic of how the game engine functions. So it's still stored somewhere and it's still around. So even if it looks like you're spawning in a cow, you are still technically creating it out of something. And that something is the game engine. So it's a very interesting concept. You can't really spontaneously create things, unfortunately. But to like go back to the example of the flies, what they found out later was that it wasn't that because you left meat out that the flies would spontaneously generate. What happened later is that they were like, oh, no, wait, the meat is rotting. And because it's rotting meat, it attracted the flies because of the smell. So then you get a bad example because like then the flies are like, ooh, this is delicious. But then flies only last 24 hours. What do they do after 24 hours? They lay eggs and they make more. And then you have more flies. And then the cycle just keeps going. So you're not generating flies. The flies are coming in and it looks like a tasty meal. And they wind up creating a whole ecosystem and environment surrounded by a single piece of slab that you left out. And that wasn't a good idea. Many Kindles. Oh gosh. Clones of me. Whoa, Okay. You know, we talked about tomatoes pretty thoroughly there. That wasn't too bad. What do we got? What else do we got? Oh, so this is an interesting part. This is a little bit of an example of like when I'm doing research, I had a pre-assumption and that assumption was wrong. So here's what it says. What was he originally trying to make? I said he originally trying to make. All of that is wrong. It's weird. But it's because what we heard earlier is that pizza wound up being evolved by a whole bunch of people at once, across many different generations, even within 600 BC. This is an interesting fact, just because like we have human innovation that winds up happening over time. We're very used to things just like popping up and being very like to the minute right here and right now, because we're in a modern day where like we can program something and bam, there it is. But back then, we didn't really have computers or anything like that, so progress was slow. There was no internet, and then people just naturally created whatever they could based off of what they knew from local knowledge. So that's an interesting point that you got to lay down on the ground here, because just the way that pizza evolved, it wasn't something that was just, created. It comes out of many experiences. Many people wind up doing things over time. It's a very interesting process. Let's talk about Sosig. What is a Sosig? Hold up, that kind of sounds like fun ideas. Oh, okay, car nerd. Thank you for stopping by. You'll be able to catch us later too if you want. If you want to see more of what we were talking about, we'll have a VOD ready to go. But hope you have a good rest of your Father's Day. Thank you for stopping by. What? I got booped. But yeah, there you go. I mean, it's worth food for thought. I keep thinking about a situation where there's like no internet. It's scary. My whole job relies on an internet connection, actually. So I work remote. So what happens is I have to connect to the internet in order to actually like deploy my code. So I go to localhost, I wind up having an instance of that, but then our work actually relies heavily on like company servers. So as a result of that, I wouldn't be able to do work literally without an internet connection. So if that kind of infrastructure went down, that's not good. Theoretically, I could do my work if I wound up learning how to mock those calls, but that's the kind of infrastructure that's not really set up. So strange reality, but yeah, no, a world without internet has just, it's not really going to exist for a good chunk of people, at least in the United States and stuff. Let's go ahead and move over to this one. Let's see what we got. But yeah, no, sorry, that was a tangent. I wound up talking about that because, like, honestly, like, wow, my brain just died. Oh yeah, no. You would think that pizza is like one particular person, or they wound up creating the pizza and that was it. It wasn't that. It was something that was created over time. It's Gold! Hi, Gold! It's good to see you, buddy. Here. It's good to see you. How are you doing? How was your marbles with friends? I saw that. That was a lot of fun. Okay. So, oh boy. So, we're actually about to move on to another section here. Types of pizzas. So this is an interesting category because finally we get to use the little slides that are over here, and I'm looking in the wrong place. The slides over here that wind up demonstrating all sorts of different types of foods. Now, actually, no, this could be very interesting for Gold because he's Italian. He likes a good thing to make. So we'll have to see if he has like some critical information about any of the pizzas that are foretold here. Hi, and it was good. That's good. It was a lot of fun to run into you there. I wound up nearly taking a nap after the fact, but it was good. That marble thing, I saw somebody else use that once. I think it was Cheese Beagle. He wound up using that as a result of trying to like draw raffles. So that was a pretty good use of that application, I think. But yeah, right now, Gold, we're actually talking about pizza. We're going to talk about beautiful, beautiful stuff. Also, fun fact too, I think you guys have probably figured it out by now, but like, pizza wasn't actually originated in Italy. That's a very interesting thing. I betcha, for sure, Italy has absolutely innovated on the pizza like no other. But you see like pizza winding up being created across all different types of countries. So it's a very interesting situation where, like, you know, maybe you have like a cake, maybe that was innovated. I know waffle cones, they were innovated in just like one swoop. But no, pizza was very different. It's fascinating. Okay, so let's move on to the types of pizzas. If we go over here, it says oven baked pizza. Why did I create this category? Well, why did I create this category? Well, I would presume it's because you have many different types of ways to make pizza. I think over here, what it says here is oven baked pizza. You know, we could start at ground zero, let's be honest. If you have like $3 Walmart pizzas, that's a starting point, I guess. That's not really a type of pizza that you want to have ideally. It's more like a quick pizza. They're not too bad though, I'll be honest, because you can create one of those pizzas by you can sprinkle a whole bunch of toppings on top of it. You can heat it up and it comes out pretty okay. But we'll go ahead and move on to a different one. Let's see, because we'll talk actually more about personal experience making pizza, because I think it'll cover pretty much everything that's going on here. It talks about different types of ovens too. So there's the brick oven, the conventional oven, a Fuji, which I'll get into that in a little bit, and then apparently your generic oven. Okay, so I wound up being very biased and put my favorite in there first. So aside from Mr. Jimmy, which we're going to make an emoji later. I forgot to do this one. Okay, so before we do that, this is basically a painting of the ancient times when they wound up doing pizza around then. So basically it was that time frame when they did like dates and cheese and flatbread, like all there. Interesting too, like you might have heard it in the trivia question, but they also use shields as their plates when eating that pizza. So that was a pretty interesting little factoid. Oh goodness. Raffaele Espiato of Naples, Italy in 1889 was the first person to make flatbread with topping, which was modified into pizza you see today. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty cool. Interesting, okay. Yeah, there you go. I mean, there you go. Italy wound up having some very strong innovations there with the pizza. That's awesome. You know, if I'm being honest, okay, so I know a couple people who've actually gone to Italy. I think Rylan actually went to Italy once, but he said he loved all the food there. My gosh. And then Gold, obviously, he's Italian, so he's been there, I'm sure. But holy cow, I would like to try some pizza there. I bet you they do a good job. Okay, let's go to the next image. New York style pizza. New York style pizza is like my favorite. I love pizza of that style so much. So, we actually have a trivia question for this one, by the way. We'll go ahead and talk about how a pizza is in general first, and then we'll move on. So essentially, you can identify a New York style pizza because they wind up folding, and they're actually very big in size. So with these type of pizzas, they're interesting because you can't quite hold the whole thing easily. So what people have done is that when you have it, it's a flatbed bread crust, and it makes it very easy to just go. It's very nice. You wind up folding it, you can eat it, and also the amount of tomato sauce on there is not as much as you would have on a typical pizza. It's not as much, but then it comes in place of like actually having some good toppings on top. So, for example, you could have a lot of cheese, you can have tons of meats, and we actually had a supreme pizza at our local restaurant that had even like mushrooms, peppers, and stuff like that. Like it was really crazy with the amount of stuff that you can put on top. Born and raised, let's go! Nice. Born and raised. Dude, that's exciting. When we meet, we're gonna have to talk all about pizza and stuff like that. When we're over at like MFF or something, that'd be a lot of fun. We have to exchange recipes. Oh. But yeah, that's kind of the properties of a New York style pizza. That is the type of pizza that I would love to make sometime. It's like my all-time favorite style. But there are actually some very big challenges to that, and I'll actually get to that once we actually get down to the lower parts of these bullet points here. But until then, we actually have a trivia question for you guys. So prepare! I know there's laundry going on over there. So, for those who just dropped in, it's very simple to play the trivia. Just answer A, B, C, or D when you actually see the answers come up on screen. So, here's the question. New York pizza is widely known as a very tasty variant. They sold for some very wild prices, though, in the Bronx. How much was New York pizza by the slice in the early 1900s? Four choices. We have $3, 5 cents, 50 cents, and $5. There were no entries to the trivia. However, here is the answer. Early on, they were 5 cents. Later in 1970, they've got up to 35. Then over time, 60 cents or more. It's very interesting, to be honest, because if you think about where pizza actually came from. Oh, I can't play, I'd be cheating. Oh my gosh. Dang. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, so it is interesting because, like, these days, if I'm being honest, like I see prices for pizza go up to like $2 a slice. That's so different. But what you have is like a time when like you had pizza as early as like 5 cents in like 1900. Inflation is wild, but it's a fascinating piece of history, mainly just because like pizza started as a street food for folks back in like the medieval times. That street food mentality kind of stuck along itself when we wound up going straight to New York, even as later as like 1900. It's fascinating to say the least. But it winds up keep on going because it's a not too of an expensive food, and you can be very accessible with it. So it's fascinating to hear about New York style. It's weird that it's also my favorite type of pizza in terms of like, I don't know, expense to like premium ratio. Like I would pay a lot for a really good New York style pizza. Yet by the slice, you get like 5 cents or like even 60 cents. So like, let me think about that. That would be 6 times 8. That would be, I am terrible at math while I am currently streaming. That would be like $5.07 for like 8 slices. Like that's not bad at all. That's pretty good. Not bad at all. Let us move on to another style. This one is actually pretty good. This one is the margarita pizza. Margarita pizzas are really good because they're a very different style overall. Instead of having that tomato sauce, you wind up having actual tomatoes instead. Also too, you'll see over there, like on the picture, there are a couple of spots. Those spots are actually mozzarella cheese. Depending on like what type of margarita pizza that you get, it could either be like spots of mozzarella cheese, or it could be a whole, basically caked in cheese. It's a very different style overall, I would say, but it's pretty good nonetheless. I think one of my favorite types of margarita pizzas are over at Panera Bread. If you end up getting stuff over there, it's like not too bad of a size. I would say like, I don't know, arm's length or something like that. That type of pizza. About that length, I think, up to like here. Something like that is how big the margarita pizza is times 2. If you get something like that over there. But instead of like actual tomatoes, you get something like cherry tomatoes because it's a smaller pizza. We actually went to Myrtle Beach recently, and over there they had some margarita pizza. We gave it a try. It was a very different experience because it was more focused on the cheese and the basil and all that stuff. But it was a very interesting experience. We actually watched Jaws while we were there. It was on the TV. But it was a pretty good experience overall. But yeah, no, margarita pizza is a pretty good one. Oh, okay, so now we move on to the exotic pizzas. These are either going to make Gold absolutely cringe or freak out that they exist. So we'll see how he winds up reacting to these. Okay, so the next one is none other than barbecue chicken pizza. This one is an interesting one. Whoops. Basically, it is what it is, says on the tin there. You have yourself barbecue. Yeah, well, basically it's barbecue sauce in place of the tomato sauce. You have chicken, likely in place of the the pepperoni. And then you have basically cheese. So it's tomato, barbecue sauce, cheese, sometimes bacon. And if you like onions, you have red onion usually on that as well. So that tends to be a pretty good type of pizza as well. I've actually tried to cook it too. Depending on what type of barbecue sauce you get, you want to make sure that like there's a mix of either like, you don't want the tang to be like overly intense on that. So it's interesting once you put it together, and it's actually loaded with protein too. Because if you think about it, you have the chicken, you have the cheese, sometimes the bacon, and barbecue sauce. I don't know about the protein there, but you have tons of protein. 1 can of chicken, usually when we get that at Walmart, has about 35 grams per serving, and there's 4 servings total. So you do 3, 6, 9, over like 120 something grams of protein. You have something like a barbecue chicken pizza. It's loaded and loaded with good stuff inside. So if you wind up having a pizza like that and you wind up using like an entire can, it's actually pretty useful for feeding like an entire party. It's pretty great. Next up, we actually have another type of pizza that's very similar. This is a very small picture apparently, but that is a buffalo chicken pizza. Slightly different than your barbecue chicken pizza. Basically, the main difference is that you have some buffalo sauce, and this makes for a very interesting challenge. So I'll describe like my own experience with it, because I actually created this pizza before without actually going to a restaurant first. I was actually going to our local supermarket, and what I wound up trying to do is like, okay, I want to make another barbecue chicken pizza because holy cow, it's really good. And then right next to the barbecue sauce was the buffalo sauce. I was like, I wonder like what that would taste like. So we wound up buying this buffalo sauce and we put it all over the pizza. I think it was either that or I did a half and half pizza, which I think is more likely of what I did. We wound up creating that pizza, we heated it up, and it was good, but also really tangy and really intense on the taste bud. Blah 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 blah. You should do pizza with pepper jack cheese and ham. Best thing ever. That's a new one. I've never heard of that before. Pepper jack too. When I think of pepper jack, I think of like the cheese stick, Kyber. So that's interesting that you're talking about that. So like, can you get like pepper jack like from the store as like something that's not the cheese stick? I mean, otherwise, if not, I think it'd probably be possible to just melt it and just make use of it that way. That's cool. I didn't know about that. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually take note of that, because like I'm like an enthusiast for trying to put together some pizzas. Cheese and ham. That is so new. Also, okay, so I'm kind of curious. If you put that type of pizza together, do you wind up having some kind of sauce with it? My high school did that, and it was the hit of the school's pizza line. Dang. Ranch. Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. So overall, that would be ham, ranch, pepper jack. I can kind of get the taste of that. Okay. You get somewhat of like a sweet tangness to it alongside the pepper jack, which adds a little bit of a spice, but it's also very smooth to the taste. And then you have the ham, which is the meat part, which adds a lot of protein to it. Best thing ever. Oh, that sounds awesome. That's a legitimately cool recipe, Kyber. I'll have to check that out. It doesn't seem like it's that hard to make either, all things considered. Where was I? We were talking about buffalo pizza. Yeah, okay, so when we were putting the pizza together for buffalo pizza, we managed to make it. It was actually very strong tasting, and we figured out that like, if you wind up putting ranch on top of it, kind of like what Kyber was talking about with his ham and pepper jack pizza, it actually tasted a lot easier to digest and stuff. So if you wind up putting together like a buffalo chicken pizza, you gotta make sure that your buffalo sauce is not as like tangy. Unless you absolutely like that, it's gonna be very intense on you. Do you like pizza cooking stream like Firecat? Oh, do a pizza cooking stream. It's worth considering. I think I would be comfortable doing that at like my own house if I ever did something like that. Another thing too, I would need to probably get a proper camera set up as well, because all I have for a camera right now is my Kinect or my phone, so I don't know about the quality behind that, but I think that would be pretty interesting if we did do something like that. That actually, you know what, if we ever did do something like that, it'd be worth asking Firecat for the advice, because he probably has something very interesting configured. But no, legit, I'm actually wanting to like try that pepper jack thing. That sounds like a really cool idea. Let's see. I was literally about to say, just ask Firecat. Yeah, no, he's got the whole setup ready to go. It would be interesting to ask him too, because he probably has a good IRL camera that he's making use of. Either that or it's just his phone, so one or the other. Although, if you wind up going to Best Buy, they actually have some good professional cameras that could be very interesting to check out. I saw them, they were not cheap, but I think in some future projects, I think it would be worth it at some point. Just for the quality in itself, I think that could be very awesome. Moving right along, what do we got? Okay, so this is an interesting one. This one is an Alfredo pizza. So this one's a kind of a strange one. I meant to crop this, but this is one that I was actually putting together myself. But it has been seen in other areas. In some more expensive restaurants, they actually do have Alfredo pizza, which is amazing. I love it. So this one is a very interesting adventure for me because ultimately what I wanted to do was create an Alfredo pizza. But I need to learn to make pizza first. I need to learn how to manage the crust, what kind of ingredients, and how to use the convection oven for X amount of time. So this was something that I really wanted to learn. So Alfredo sauce from scratch, and then a pizza from scratch, and then you have something completely of your own. Whenever I do something like an Alfredo pizza, I'll typically use I'll create my own Alfredo sauce, which my mom has a good recipe that she found online. And then afterwards, I actually add a little bit of spinach to it. So that actually adds to it. I think also too, what makes a good Alfredo pizza is that you can actually add some chicken to it. So you combine all of those ingredients together and you actually have a really good solution. And also too, loaded with protein, just like the barbecue chicken pizza, except now it's mainly Alfredo sauce. So even more protein, which is, really good. But yeah, no, if I can't remember if like Olive Garden has something like the Alfredo pizza over there. I know there's some other restaurants that do something like that, but if you ever check it out, it is absolutely worth your time if you wind up checking out the Alfredo pizza. This one in particular, this is an interesting one. This is a dessert pizza. Technically, it's not really like a pizza. We got the bot. How dare the bot! I would not recommend clicking on that, by the way. That is probably not a good one to do there. So with regards to dessert pizza, this is a very interesting topic. Mainly because it's not something that you normally see every day, but you can get it at something called Mr. Gatti's Pizza. That's a pretty good one. But bots enjoy pizza. I would hope you would enjoy pizza, Mr. Bot, but you shouldn't be sending links over there. That's not good for you. Over at like Mr. Gatti's, I haven't been in there in a while because they closed shop, at least where we live. But over there, basically, it could be just about any type of pizza, really. So in this case, this one's like a cinnamon one. That's how I remember dessert pizzas growing up when I was very little. We got those and it tasted pretty good. Usually they come in like little chunks instead of just actually being like a slice, which, I mean, it makes sense. It's these little cinnamon stick things, which it makes it easier if you wind up breaking it down into those little pieces. So here's a secondary variant from the same place. Mr. Gatti's also has like kind of like a s'mores-like treat. That seems to be one of their newer options. Either that or like I wasn't paying attention when I was a little kid, or I don't remember. But it's a pretty good option overall. It tastes like s'mores. But it's fascinating just because, like, you know, you can call it a dessert pizza, but in reality, like, it doesn't have like a crust like a pizza. It doesn't quite have tomato sauce or anything stereotypical like that. But then think about it this way. When pizzas wound up starting out, they weren't quite what people thought they were. And it didn't get until like what Gold was talking about in like the 1880s that you wound up having tomato sauce on a pizza, and it wound up actually being called that. So honestly, call pizza what you want. It's actually really good. You're back. He's back! Welcome back. How are you doing back? It's very good to see you. We were just talking about dessert pizza. Have you ever had a dessert pizza before? I'm gonna make sure that I'm looking at the presenter view correctly, and if there's, oh, okay, so we haven't actually hit that part yet. Just making sure. Well, no, sounds like good though. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, yeah. So basically, they do have them like housed at like a Mr. Gatti's Pizza. If you were to check that out, I would not be surprised if something like Blaze Pizza or someplace else had something. I would even check like Mellow Mushroom. They probably have something. I don't know for sure. It's been a minute since I've looked at a dessert pizza. But also too, if I go to some place like Mellow Mushroom, they fill you up really fast, so I don't really get a chance to have dessert super often. My gosh. But yeah, no, here's a different one if you ever want to check it out. This one is a cinnamon stick type pizza. This one's pretty good. Ever heard of Big Ed's Pizza? Low-key the best place ever. I have not, no. That could be very interesting if you ever want to check it out. Okay, so guys, we have one more trivia question over here. We have a couple more, but this one is a very interesting one, all right? This one wasn't something that I was expecting at all to actually run into, but I thought it was really cool, so I thought I would share it with you guys. Here is the question. You can answer that with A, B, C, or D. We've talked a lot about pizza so far, but there's actually one more type that we haven't touched. Which one of these is a real pizza? Did the stream crash? Nope. Okay, it's alive. Oh gosh. Holy cow. Are we alive? Oh my gosh. Give me a sec. I think we're alive somehow. What the heck? Let me like double check OBS. I think OBS might be dying. You guys see me okay? Oh gosh. Here, give me a sec. I'm gonna try to like close the game and try to bring it back out. Not VR chat, but the trivia engine. I think it's suffering. Okay, I think it's back. So let's be honest here. When the trivia engine was made, it was more or less made when the resources were not reaching like 99% on my computer. It's more than like, oh no, yeah, no, the VRAM was dying. So yeah, that would explain things. That would absolutely explain things. Give me a second. 3D printed is real. How do you know that? How do you know that? You know what? Give me a second. Let me go back. Let's go here. You guys can put in your questions. That's the wrong question. Try this one. Null? What the heck is a null? What in the world? No, I think it's having a heart attack. Oh, bummer. Okay. Oh, okay, so the timer's still gonna go, but still. That's a shame. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh. No, I think it's just bugged. I've never seen a bug like this before. But yeah, so, okay. We'll just cut right to the chase, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But yeah. 3D printed pizza. That is actually the one that we were going to talk about next. And that was not the one. Give me a second. There's 3D printed pizza. 3D printed pizza is actually pretty cool. It was actually funded by NASA. It's something that's funny. You wouldn't think that 3D printed pizza would be a thing, but I think what they want to do is essentially have a very good way to have astronauts have some quality food. 3D printing master. Well, you'll need a special 3D printer for this one because it's actually made by BHEX. I think their goal was to try to get 3D printed pizza out like by 2030. It was their main goal, but they also have some YouTube videos in showing how they wound up putting 3D printed pizza as well. So it's pretty cool. Did you know that there is a 3D printed printer that can print in chocolate? I might have heard about that a little bit, but that's cool that you mentioned that. I wonder what that honestly tastes like. That's pretty cool. You'd have to have some like confectionery level like creations there in order to actually like have some good quality chocolate. That's awesome though, because that means you could like create all sorts of different confectionaries with that. Oh my goodness, chocolate pizza. There you go, a dessert pizza. You use the 3D printed pizza, and then you use this 3D printed chocolate on top of that. There you go. Eventually, I want to see this happen. That would be really, really cool. I want to look at the status and see if like they're actually doing something with that at the moment. That would be so neat. Link to the chocolate 3D printer. Thank you. We'll have to check that out. Just like your ham and pepper jack cheese pizza. Hello there, Kid Joker. It's good to see you. Hope things are going alright for you today. We're on the subject of a delicious all-time favorite food, and that is pizza. How are you doing, by the way? How was your Father's Day? How was Dead Joker on the Father's Day? Coca Press DIY kits start at $14.99, while professional packages start at $4,495. Oh my gosh. I think you could get a pretty good gaming PC setup out of something like that, if I'm being honest. That's quite intense. I hope it's good. Oh yeah, I hope he's doing okay. The Joker's a good guy. By the way, Coca Press is the name of the 3D printer. Okay. Interesting. You'll need to collaborate with BHEX. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Let's see. So, okay. I skipped over a pizza by accident. You guys saw it a little bit. But let's go back over here. Cheez-It pizza! This is a pizza that kind of just is not there anymore, but they need to bring it back. Good grief, I could buy like 1.5 of my gaming laptop. I know, right? It's crazy. It's a lot of money just to do something like that. If you do something like that, I would imagine you were probably like a professional shop that's looking for like confectionaries and stuff like that. It's insane, probably for the end consumer. Best part is that we got the 3D printer as a donation from a good friend of mine. You actually got to try it? Oh, no, hang on. The robotics team has a 5-nozzle 3D printer that's $4,000. Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. That's crazy though, my gosh. I'm sure, like, how fast does it wind up creating stuff then? That's awesome. Me Lappy is at $18.99, and boy, was it worth the money. Oh, I'm sure, my gosh. That's good to be able to have that amount of portability around there. It's fast and quiet. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm gonna be there in VR chat. So I won't be able to bring in some people in VR chat at the moment because right now my video RAM is at 92%, my CPU is at 92%, and my GPU is at 76. Sorry, not GPU, my CPU, GPU, VRAM, like it's all dying. I'm at 21 frames per second. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do like something like, I won't be able to bring you into the Just Chatting world, but later down the road, like after we're done here, I might be able to do something. But also too, I'm gonna be talking to Star because he wanted to be able to learn how some things worked for Twitch. Sounds like it'd be big. Okay, so you got like 4 nozzles, it's working like really quietly. That's cool. That's really wild. He likes to try to melt its innards. I forgot to put the fans at performance mode. Oh no. Oh no. You want to make sure that you don't overheat that thing, because if you wind up doing that, then it won't last as long. Sounds good enough, just streaming. Ah, okay. Yeah, no worries, man. Eventually I want to be able to do something where like I can bring multiple people in and do a chat like that. But for now, I think it'd be good to be able to chat with the audience and make sure that we have some kind of fluid consistency going on. But yeah, no, too, I might also need to upgrade my computer if I continue to do something like this, because we are chugging. We are barely chugging. And you saw earlier, let me bring the let me bring the trivia engine back up because it was dying. Go here. I think it's alive. Hey, nice. That's the next trivia question. Nobody answer that. Okay, well, yeah, I think we're ready to go for that next one. It malfunctioned, basically, okay? So we had a lot of VRAM and it was like breaking the stream. I had to close it and then reopen. It was chaos. Only one nozzle. Okay. The nozzles do not work at the same time. It's not just swapping. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I guess it just might be depending on where it needs to actually be put in there. Does that make sense? Is that kind of how it works, maybe? Oh. there will be a next question, I promise. It has gained sentience and has refused to perform its duty. Oh no! That's not good. Free the trivia program. There'll be another trivia question. We just gotta get back onto the topic. We'll be there in a minute. Yes. Oh my gosh. That's wild though. 3D printing right there. It's like I've always wondered how fast you could do something. Did you guys know that there's actually like a 3D printed car that was actually a thing? I read it like a long time ago in like National Geographic. It was years and years and years and years ago. So this is ancient fact at this point. Yes! Oh my gosh. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll have another trivia question, I promise. It just died on us for a minute. Hopefully it doesn't die again. I've never seen it do like null or anything like that, but I think it's probably because it was failing on my computer. Holy cow. Another reason to probably get an upgrade if I ever do something like that. Okay. So yes, Cheez-It Pizza. Cheez-It Pizza is actually one of those things where like I wish it could come back. This was a Pizza Hut exclusive. Essentially, you have yourself this little Cheez-It thing. If you open it up, it's got a cheesy inside. It's got like a crust, which looks like the Cheez-It from the outside. But then they also offer you some marinara sauce, which you'll see like right there. You can just dip it, and that's a full pizza. You're basically good to go. It's pretty good that way. I think I ordered it at least 2 times, and I was like, I don't want this to be like a temporary thing, but it was a temporary thing. I was kind of annoyed, but it was really good. I wish they would bring it back. They actually do have a type of Cheez-It pizza that's not quite what that one is right there. So the one pictured right there is actually one that was just more for the campaign. But what they did is that they also created one that you could get at Kroger, I think. So you can go search for your local Kroger, and then once you find it, you should have something there. But it's nothing like what this one is. Hi Gold, welcome back. Gold, have you ever heard of the Cheez-It pizza? This is a weird one. It's a very strange one. But welcome back. How are you doing, Mr. Back? We'll go over here. I think that actually winds up covering this topic. We covered all the exotic pizzas. We covered all the regular pizzas. Oh, it's a gold. Oh. It's a strange one. Oh gosh. So we'll put it right there. We'll leave it. Is this Italian gore? I apologize if it is so. We can change it to something else. Okay. So this next part is actually about personal experience putting a pizza together. I don't know how many people wind up putting their own pizzas together, like not just a frozen pizza, like I did that for years, but actually putting their own pizza together from scratch. I know, no, I'm gonna stare at you, Gold. I know you've done it. I know you've done it. I bet you've done it. I say no and then bet. My confidence level is go, but I bet Gold's put it together. But if you guys haven't done that sort of thing before, I will also talk about like my own experience about putting a pizza together. You're making me and my ancestors cry. I'm sorry, Gold. Here, I'll give you another one. I'll give you a different picture. Here, you want a picture of my friend Jimmy? Let's go to our friend Jimmy. Here's Jimmy. Okay, so personal pizza experience. This might be something where Gold winds up being a very big critique on this store thing. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit of a history. Gold, cover your ears, okay? So my first attempt at making a pizza was a piece of toast, okay? On top of that toast was some tomato sauce. On top of the tomato sauce was some pepperoni and cheese. Oh gosh. All the EV ancestors cry, no! Sorry about that, Gold. Pizza toast. Yeah, basically, that's kind of what it was. And then I also evolved to a pizza sandwich. So you basically the same ingredients, but then you grab a toaster or toaster oven, you wind up heating it up, and it winds up having some consistency of a pizza. That was my first foray into it. But I moved on, thankfully. Okay, so afterwards we wound up getting frozen pizzas. These frozen pizzas were pretty fun because, I mean, they came out just ready to go. You could just modify them. So I didn't make the frozen pizzas, but what I did is that I learned how to do good toppings on them. My siblings like to make this thing called a pitazza. It's essentially a pita bread slab with tomato sauce, cheese, and pepperoni on it. It gets microwaved a bit to melt the cheese, and bam, you've got an imitation pizza. I myself do not like them. Oh. A long time ago, I accidentally put pizza sauce on my nachos. Instead of salsa, it was still good. That's not too bad, though. That's actually pretty awesome. You would wind up, like, at least for pizza sauce, you don't quite get the onions or anything like that. Well, basically, like, the other chunks of stuff that you would get in, like, a tomato or... basically spaghetti sauce. I think about that, but not quite. I'm judging. No, God, cover your ears. Oh boy. Okay, so the pizzata, that actually makes sense. Like, okay, so if you go to like a Walmart or something like that, it actually they give you like these little things that have like these round circumference of stuff. It looks like a crust. But if I'm being honest, it doesn't quite look like a pizza crust. It's just more like this thing that feels like a pita, I guess the way that you described it. It's fascinating, but it's not a bad idea from your cousins. It actually sounds like a really tasty solution or treat. I bet you too, if you wind up putting it inside like an oven, like a convection oven or something like a Fuji or toaster oven, that could probably be pretty good for it as well, because then you wind up having a somewhat of a crunchy consistency. I would imagine with the pita, it's probably going to be a little bit more on the dry side, but you'd probably get something nice and warmed up and cooked that way. Don't worry, we can judge how foofy the Gold is. Oh my gosh. He better live up to his name. He's Gold the very fluffy Flareon. Oh no, lol. But no, that's a genuinely pretty cool idea, Car Nerd. What was it? Okay. So then thereafter, I wound up setting up pizzas that were frozen pizzas. One day, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. My mom was like, oh, hey, do you want me to season that for you? And I go, wait, what do you do? And this is how you learn. She goes, oh, okay. I put on some Italian seasoning. I got some Parmesan. Then we put on a little bit of crushed red pepper. I don't know if she did that. I put on some crushed red pepper. She also had garlic powder, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that works. And it tasted a lot better. I was like, ooh, what if I just use it as like a way, like, I want to use this to help me learn to do pizza. So that was the start of it. That was a true start. After I wound up doing that, another attempt that I wound up doing was basically something that I came up with. It's just basically like a pizza spaghetti is kind of what it was. My original ingredients were ramen, tomato sauce, we had pepperoni, and then we had a good chunk of mozzarella cheese, like a ton of mozzarella cheese. I think even a Fiesta blend for, basically just a Fiesta blend of cheese. So you combine all those things, so you have yourself some ramen, you put it into like a giant spaghetti tub, and then you combine all the ingredients with there, you put it inside an oven for a while, it bakes, and it's not the worst. It's actually pretty good. Dude, I eat ramen noodles while they're still raw on the block. My sister did that. It seems like that's a very intense on your teeth, though. It is really good if you need a quick snack. Interesting. He goes. Well, let's move Jimmy off. Here, there's a pizza. Holy cow. So if you ever want to do something like a spaghetti pizza, I would heavily recommend just making sure that the tomato sauce is kind of just like all evened out and stuff. So mainly just because if you take a bite out of it and there's like no tomato sauce, tastes kind of weird. You kind of need to have the tomato sauce. It's kind of integral to it. What else? Yeah, that's kind of what that was. That was one evolution of my pizza adventure. Finally, what happened afterwards is I learned how to work with pizza dough. So to this day, like I haven't learned to do pizza dough on my own, but that's the next step. I'm actually using either one of these two. If I'm lazy, I'll go to the local supermarket and get Pillsbury dough. That kind of dough is like, it's good. It's decent, but if you want to have like a round pizza, you kind of have to do some finagling with it. So you have to do some manual stuff. At MFF, I got you, lol. Sounds good. I legitimately used to eat those for lunch a while ago when I was on methypendiate. I cannot pronounce that properly. For my ADHD, it reduced my appetite except for a random thing like ramen noodles. Oh, interesting. I see what you mean there. Huh. I mean, I guess that could make sense. You got yourself some simple carbohydrates. It could probably fill you up pretty quickly. LOL, I'll tell you how to pronounce it later. Yeah, please do. I used to be on something called methimazole, which sounds really bad, actually, because it sounds like meth. I don't do drugs, okay? So methimazole was actually for something called my thyroid. I had, I think, an overreactive thyroid, so what would happen is because of that, it is an energy regulator inside your body. If it doesn't properly regulate, then your body doesn't quite create enough energy for you when you need it the most. So you could be like really tired in the evenings and you don't have motivation to do anything. That could be pretty dangerous. And also too, sleep schedules, terrible if you have an overreactive thyroid. What happened was I actually took some methimazole from my doctor, and after a little bit of a while, my sleep schedule fully adjusted back to where it needed to be. And so that wound up giving me a lot more energy. This is like all before I met a good chunk of you guys. But yeah, no, I understand like strange medicine names. I had to take a strange medicine name once. But that was a part of my life where it's like, it was very painful and it evolved over time. It wasn't good. But these days I actually do a lot better with sleep. But yeah, that's where it was. Tangent-wise, where did we go off to? We talked about very strange medicine names, and we were talking about spaghetti pizza. And then we talked about the Pillsbury crust, which they aren't too bad. You have two variants. You have yourself the thin crust, and you have yourself the thick crust. Obviously, I have more of a bias towards the thin crust, but if you have the thick one, then you can kind of expand it out further. That's kind of an extra trick that you can have. If you want to have like a much bigger pizza, you get the thick crust, and if you want a thin sliced pizza, you get the thick crust, and you just spread it out further, and you have a bigger pizza. So you can kind of have a life hack that way. I have anything under the sun. Oh my gosh. Gold, the food encyclopedia. I'm currently on Jornay 80 milligrams, and it's literally the simplest name for a medicine I've ever heard. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Interesting. Kind of reminds me of like Aleve or something like that. It's a very, very simple name. Yeah, so I'm currently either using that, or if you go to certain supermarkets, they actually do offer sometimes like some frozen dough. That's actually been the next step that I've been doing, because I didn't want to work with Pillsbury anymore. Like, that's the only dough I could literally find in the entire store, and I didn't want it. I wanted to go like a step upwards. I was like, okay, how do you manage dough? So I bought some frozen dough, and what you can do is that you can put it onto your counter at like room temperature, and it slowly starts to be in more of a moldable form. So it's useful for that. I have a roller. Essentially what you want to do, you want to stick some Pam or olive oil on top of your roller, and then you can just roll it out. By doing that, you wind up having more of a higher quality kind of crust, because it's not Pillsbury. So I was like, yay! It's awesome. So what helped after that is that I actually had the same steps, right? Instead of actually using the Pillsbury stuff, I actually did something very similar. I kind of eyeballed the amount of temperature that I needed and the amount of time. The goal that I would do is that on the Pillsbury one, they say you would go ahead and cook it for about 6 minutes or so, 4 to 6 minutes. Convection oven, we take off about a couple minutes, so I did 4 minutes. Comes out, you put on toppings, put it back in for about 8 minutes. I did something very similar to that with the dough that I found at the other market, and that seemed to handle pretty okay. Your goal, though, when you're handling the dough is that it winds up, it can easily be a little bit more fragile than normal, so you have to make sure that it's cooked enough, but then just enough that it winds up being good consistency and not overly crunchy. Trader Joe's offers some good chilled dough. Oh, that's pretty good. I'll have to learn about that. Trader Joe's. I make my own, but before I did that, Bobo Delalo. I'll have to strange names. I think it sounds like medicine names. I'm sorry. That's interesting though. So there's more options for dough. That's awesome. So we got stuff from Trader Joe's. We got some stuff from what is it? Let me Boli di Lalo. Boboli di Lalo. That is a new word for me. This man card doesn't know about Trader Joe's. I do not. I will have to go check that out. Okay, so that's good. So essentially, yeah, no, the ingredients that I wound up using evolved over time, but the same type of process kind of evolved. It reminds me a little bit about how I've evolved my smoothie making process too, which is a whole nother story. Very easy to kind of say, but like I started with a recipe from food.com or something, I forget. But it asked for specific types of yogurt and fruit and stuff like that. But we got, over time, some ingredients that replaced it. And I was like, oh, okay, how do we wind up making a healthier smoothie? And over time, it's become one of the healthier smoothies. It's got good protein, good fruit, so a whole bunch of natural sugar and everything like that. So it turns out to be a very interesting, evolved recipe. And also tailored to our smoothie, our blender too, because it cannot handle mangoes very well. Why can't I type today? That's a good question. I can absolutely not type. Whenever like I'm trying to talk on the Twitch chat, it's likely because they have the autocorrect turned off. It's a very strange quirk of the Twitch chat. They'll just turn everything off. They won't have autocorrect. So if it feels like you're making more mistakes, it's probably because it's doing that. It's an Italian crust or dough that you buy. Ooh. You guys are like giving me good tips. I need to give that a try. My gosh. What else? But yeah, no. Evolution of like your own craft is actually really fun, because then you learn how to do it from a general standpoint. And all of a sudden you have like a recipe you can go ahead and share with others. So it's really cool. the final stage of like my adventure is actually really close. And by close, I mean I should have done it like a couple of months ago because I bought some yeast. That's it. I need to probably make use of that yeast, but that's the first step in winding up putting together your own custom crust. So that's gonna be really, really cool. I've got Grammarly running, but it doesn't seem to be like me today. Oh no, that's right, because you were using You're using Microsoft Edge. You were trying to watch the stream there. Interesting. So it's probably you're using a Chrome extension, Edge extension, I guess. But behind the scenes, I'll tell you something. Your Microsoft Edge, your precious Edge, is actually Chrome underneath. No, wait, no. Take that from a JavaScript developer, okay? I already knew that actually. Okay, fair enough. So where were we? Oh yeah, no. I'm wanting to actually do some custom crust at some point. That would be really, really cool. I've heard a lot about some custom crust from coworkers actually, because I know a friend who wanted to make some pizza and he's like, oh dude, I tried to experiment a little bit. I took a little bit of time to figure it out. I had to have many attempts, but I eventually got it. Like, this seems like the pinnacle of being able to experiment. I'm like really excited because if you can do something like that, you get so close to a thin crust pizza with the type of crust that you want, and then the crust has more control over it now, because then you can figure out the nuances. Do you want it to be super crispy? Do you want it to be soft? Like my sister likes it soft. Or you could even potentially do something like a stuffed crust later, which you could probably do with built-in dough, or sorry, pre-made dough. But to be honest, that's a really cool opportunity. He was talking about how like, okay, if you pinch like the yeast up here versus like down here, he says that makes a difference. I don't know if that's like for real, but that sounds really neat overall. I will send you everything in DM, Kitty. Oh, okay, sounds good. I love to hear it. Oh my gosh. There's so many recommendations for good pizza stuff today. I'm really glad we got to do this. It says something about Edge being a Chromium-powered browser. That's correct. So here's a fun fact. Google Chrome is actually a Chromium-based browser. Sounds like rocket science, but there is actually a browser that is literally called Chromium Browser. It's an open source project that Google has actually been hosting for years and years at this point. The difference between Chromium and Google Chrome is that Chromium has a lot of the Google stuff just sort of taken out. So for example, like I think Google accounts still work with the Chromium browser, but there's some other things like I think telemetry and other things that just don't exist there. Other things I think like AI features probably don't exist there either, just mainly because it's not something that is open source. It's proprietary and owned by Google. So that's basically what they're talking about when they're saying Chromium based. Also, too, another example of a Chromium-based system is something called Electron. To best describe Electron, this is something that is able to host a lot of your modern apps that you see. So Discord, for example, runs on Electron. Electron allows you to grab things like images or interface more with your hardware. So if you see something in that sense, if it's Chromium based, it's probably using the same type of engine that Google Chrome uses. Not necessarily Google Chrome itself, but the Chromium project. So hopefully that would explain it to you. Let's see. Yeah, so the crust, that's gonna be like the main adventure that I wanna go on. I have like a few yeast packets. It's probably not gonna be enough, if I'm being honest. I'll have to learn. We'll figure out how that system goes, and I'm gonna be so thrilled once we actually figure it out. Oh, I had something else that I wanted to say about it, and I totally forgot. Dang, man. How long have we been actually... Wow! We've actually been going on for an hour 30. Wasn't expecting that. We've been doing pretty good. Not bad at all. Okay, so what else? I'm gonna take a look at my notes. This is all from like the top of my head because personal experience is like engraved into my head. Oh yeah, no, I could talk about this. So the types of pizza, the types of pizza that I wind up putting together, I guess is the type of ingredients that I use. Are you going to toast your crust? I hope I'd be able to do that. I think there's like, oh my gosh, the way he's saying that, it sounds like it's a form of the question. It's like, oh, if you toss your crust, it's going to be a much different outcome. I'm excited. What are the benefits of tossing your crust, Gold? This sounds really exciting. I learned so much about pizza. Yay! I'm glad. I'm glad you learned a lot about pizza. And got so hungry. Oh, goodness. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, so I was actually going to share a picture of a pizza that I put together. I recently, just yesterday, I put together a pizza. Oh my gosh. Don't look at that. Oh my gosh. My controller is not being nice to me. I put together my own pizza recently just so I can share the experience. And I genuinely miss making pizza. I haven't done it in like a month or something, and I was like, oh, so good. Let's see. How long were you expecting? I don't know. I was kind of expecting for the points to just sort of blaze through and maybe we'd have extra time to talk. But like, to be honest, this is perfect. This is actually a really good amount of time to be able to talk. It's great too because we have you guys talking back and forth and there's this feedback. Like what I want to do for streams like this is just make sure that people are able to have their voice heard, right? So we'll talk about pizza and have all these main points. But the fact that we're having this conversation right now, it allows it to branch off of ways that I was not expecting. For example, Gold came here and he said that he was judging me about the type of pizza that I was putting together. Like that goes on to a big train of thought and it gets really exciting. So it's really cool. So I've been happy with it. Like we've been able to spend some good minutes being able to talk about what you guys have had experience with pizza. Like I've never heard of a pitazza. That makes a lot of sense. It's cool. You probably got a bunch of super profusely before making pizza so you don't leave hairs in it or something. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, no, cat, yes. Goodness gracious, if I were to make a pizza as like a cat, I'd have to be very careful. I'd probably put on some gloves or something just to make sure that the fur doesn't get in there. Gloves, probably a mask, and then probably a chef's hat. This is probably what I would have to do. Make sure that it's a hygienic pizza. That's seasoning. What the heck? Oh no. Oh, that's bad. New hat idea. Chef hat. Oh goodness. We do have a chef's hat actually for the Kindle itself. Not the cat, but sorry. The music has voice. That was confusing. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't have a chef's hat, but I do have a few other hats. Speaking of which, there are a couple of redeems that you guys can check out down there. There are the cowboy hat. You have this hat that I'm wearing right now, and then there is, my brain's going blank, the top hat. The top hat is one of those. Doobie. Hi! Hello there, Fluffy's Base! It's good to see you! It's very good to have you. I saw that you wound up doing some stuff over there. I'm glad to see you. How are you doing? It's been a good minute. Oh my gosh. Very good to have you. We've been on a long adventure all about pizza. It's been great. Do you like pizza? What type of pizzas do you like? I'm asking too many questions. My gosh. We actually have one more topic after this. So we got lots of stuff that we can still talk about. Tossed your pizza dough is a technique that can help create a round shape, develop a light and airy crust, and desired thickness, and it also dries out the surface of the pizza dough, make it easier to handle and less sticky. Ooh, okay. That's good to know, Gold. Interesting. I need to try that. I'll have to give that a shot. My gosh. So here's what I'm thinking. You can like give me feedback on this too. I'm thinking about like, we'll get started with a base recipe. If I can figure out how the recipe works and then it all works okay as I'm rolling it, I may move on to doing something like flipping the pizza in the air. Hopefully, does that make sense? I think I would like to try to do that, but I think before I actually do that, I got to figure out how to make the crust, make sure that like I know what I'm doing, and then it has the right consistency. I would love to try that though. That actually legitimately sounds great. Good. Late because of time zones, and my favorite pizza is onion and spinach with garlic sauce. Tomato sauce likes to fight me. Interesting. We were actually talking earlier, fun fact, that pizza actually did not have tomato sauce as one of its main ingredients as it was being evolved over time. So you have yourself kind of like an ancient pizza that you're putting together in such a way. It's fascinating. I'm not really an onion person myself, but no, I promise it's only because like I'm a picky eater. So it's not because of any of the other things. But no, that sounds like a pretty good combination overall. But yeah, no, basically around ancient times, Spain and the Americas, they had their own tomato sauce pizza, but over in Europe, they may have had that delayed over in the higher class when they were putting it together because they thought tomatoes were actually poisonous. So you got yourself a very good medieval style tasty pizza going on there. With the exception that you also have garlic sauce. No fair. You like, no problem in that. Yeah. That's fair enough. I mean, you could be like the ancients too. You could also have some pizza with dates and cheese on top. Make sure you have that shield to make sure that you can eat it. My gosh. Some new cosplay ideas, I guess. Probably not, if I'm being honest. You probably don't want to have flat. That would be a very messy cosplay. Moving right along, we got ourselves some good restaurants. Now, if you're not like Gold, unfortunately, fortunately, there's some very good places to eat some pizza. Very, very tasty stuff. Let's see. There's some very good examples too. We're gonna flip through all these pictures. You're gonna see a random guy. And then we're gonna go over here. This one. And our first restaurant. This one is Mellow Mushroom. This one's a really good one. Personally, if you wind up going to this one, they have really good custom pizzas. In fact, depending on which store that you go to, they'll actually have their own local version of a pizza that you can get. It's only exclusive to there. So you'll basically no two Mellow Mushroom restaurants are quite alike, except they do have some pizzas that are very similar. It's very, very good though. They have like Mighty Meaty. That's a really good one. It's filled with calories though. Even the small one. Like sometimes I'll get a version of that pizza with only like 4 slices, but it still freaking fills you up. So you might want to only have like 2 slices and then take to go, or even share it with a friend. Love the coziness at Mellow Mushroom. Oh my gosh. Also, hi Twilight, it's good to see you. How are you doing today? Anybody here had Marco's? That's a good one too. Oh my gosh. What did I do? What? No, you're good, buddy. I'm just teasing. Yo, if you have any restaurants that you like personally, you can definitely recommend them as well. This is the part where we wound up just talking about different restaurants. So, Mellow Mushroom, definitely a good one. I have good memories of it too, because when I was very young, I went straight to the arcade with my dad. He showed me 2 games that I still play to this very day, Pac-Man and Galaga. That actually, it just about started my gaming career, just about. I'd say the only games that I played before that were the Nintendo 64 at a friend's house. But over there, it's interesting. Pizza is very highly like tied into what I do with my life, I guess. But you have Pac-Man and Galaga. I wound up playing those in the arcade plug-and plays that you could get at the store. That was my way of playing some of my first video games. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but you associate that with pizza, and there you go. You get a little bit of a trace of where my life goes. Doing lovely, learning all about pizza. Well, that's a good feeling right there. You gotta have that 600 BC pizza, my friend. It's quite tasty. Actually, I can't vouch for that. It probably is pretty good, but I would be pretty nervous to have it. Dates and cheese. That's the strange ingredients that they had. Have you had the pizza rolls? Pizzolis. That's what it's called. Pizzolis, or however the heck you spell it. I really like the chicken bacon ranch one. I've never had a pizzoli. What's a pizzoli like? I'm kind of curious. Yes, we could talk about Marco's as well. What Carnard was talking about is Marco's is a very good place. You have mainly soft crust pizza there if you get it by default, but they also have some very good calzones if you wind up shooting for those. What's it? I think predominantly we've mostly gotten some soft crust pizza there, but overall they have a heavy dominance on their tomato sauce. So if you have something like that, you'll get a very big blast of flavor with the tomato sauce specifically. I love Sam and Pizza Hut in Giordano, in Rosati, in Zana. There's a lot of... You guys got to take a look at some of Gold's recommendations, because this guy knows his stuff, okay? We're going to have to Google search all of these. These are all really good. If I haven't made my own pizza. Okay, gotcha. Mr. Gold over there, he's got the Italian heritage, so you got to go take some of his recommendations with his restaurants. But yeah, no, Marco's is pretty good. It's a Marco's thing. Oh, okay, so they're pizzolis. So I guess if you wanted to go to Marco's, you'll find one of those. At Marco's too, they have the calzones. I think I mentioned that earlier, but they're also really good. I think I'm also a member there at Marco's. Marco's is pretty good, so I wound up like getting that. And I think if you are diligent enough, I once got a coupon for like 75% off of pizza if you wind up sticking with the reward system long enough. So there you go. I live there too before I move on, so I know my stuff. Oh yeah. Gotta give full respect to the floof. Quite tasty. Okay, so we've covered Marco's unexpectedly. We have ourselves Mellow Mushroom. What else is there? That is Blaze Pizza from what I understand. I've only had Chucky Pizza, Pizza Hut, Papa Murphy's, Papa John's, and Domino's. All of those are really good. Papa Murphy's specifically, that's actually a really good point. So that's a fascinating one, because over at Papa Murphy's, they give you a pizza, but it's not quite there yet. The last piece of the step is something that you do by yourself. The advertising for that is typically you have a fresh pizza because you wound up putting it together at home. So they'll make you a pizza, they'll put the ingredients together, but then they offer it to you. It's a little bit wobbly, so you gotta be careful. You bring it back, you take it to your house, and then you cook it. And it's a very fresh pizza made from the restaurant, but it's from the quality of whatever oven that you're using at home. So it's very good stuff. Chucky Pizza. When you're talking about Chucky Pizza, are you thinking Chuck E. Cheese's? Just out of curiosity? Yes, sir. We've gotten so many good pizza coupons and repeated purchases from... Yes, Marco's is really good for their deals. Have you ever made your own pizza? GGR Ting. Hello, GGR Ting. It's very good to meet you. I have made my own pizza. Those are very, very good if you wind up putting it together. In fact, I could talk about some of the ingredients that I've done with some of the pizzas. I'm usually pretty heavy on my tomato sauce. It's probably some of my favorite ones that I've done is a double layered pepperoni. So I'll start with the tomato sauce, and then I'll put on, my brain's going blank. I put on Italian seasoning, garlic powder. Garlic sauce actually sounds pretty good. What else? My brain's going blank. It's a very spicy thing. Cayenne cayenne. I put cayenne inside there. And then we add some pepperoni. And then on top of that, we put on a huge amount of mozzarella. And then we put some pepperoni on top. We bake it in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then we've got something. Hello there! How are you doing today? And have you made your own pizza? That's always a very fun adventure to do. But yeah, no, Papa Murphy's, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. You did? That's awesome! What kind of ingredients did you wind up putting together? Also, too, I'm trying to learn how to do crust. Have you put your own crust together? Gold, yes. I bet Gold's put pizza together. I bet his pizza is really good. Almost same as you? Okay, nice. Nice. Actually, I missed a step too. Old World pepperoni. That's one of my favorites. Also, too, if you add a little bit of cheddar cheese to it, this is kind of a strange choice, but you can also put that on there. It's also pretty good. Okay, so other restaurants. Oh yeah, Blaze Pizza. So it's very similar to Papa Murphy's, except instead of baking it back over at home, what you can do is that it's kind of like I would describe the Subway of pizza in a way. So you'll wind up being in line. They'll ask if you want like a half pizza or a full pizza, and you can select from many different options, just like Subway. And then what they'll do, they'll put it together and they'll say, hey, what kind of ingredients do you want? I'll usually pick out a lot of meats because that's what I like. And then they'll ask if you want some oregano and salt and stuff like that. And then you get to watch the whole process. It doesn't take very long. I would say maybe like 3 minutes to put the base pizza together. And then you check out, and as you're checking out, they put it straight into their brick oven. So brick oven specifically, it's actually really important because you have a crispy crust at the very end. But you wait maybe like 5-6 minutes and your pizza's ready. They're very hot ovens, so they take it out and you can have it. It's pretty good. Very good experience. Let's see what we got there. I made potato crusted pizza. I've never heard of potato crusted pizza before. What's a potato crust like? That sounds pretty neat. Was it good? Oh, in terms of like, I must have missed something. Blaze Pizza? Blaze Pizza is pretty good. Pizza and pasta and what's it? Saltimbocca and etc. Saltimbocca. Never heard of a saltimbocca. Fascinating. I'm learning a lot of new things from Gold and all you guys right now. This is interesting. What I see here. Yeah, so Blaze Pizza, this is a pretty good one. I've gone there a couple of times. It's a very chill place too, because you can like pull out your laptop, do a little bit of work while you wait. Very relaxed environment. Pizza and pasta. Oh, sorry. Looking at the previous chat message. Next! This one is strange, okay? So this is not a pizza restaurant. This is Panera Bread. The reason why I bring up Panera Bread is actually something I was talking about earlier, which is my brain's going blank. No, don't do that to me. We're gonna look at my notes. My brain's dying. It's almost like 9 o'clock. Margarita pizza. Wow, I didn't even look at the notes. I was just like, oh, there it is. Yeah, it's really good. Just frustrating to work with. Oh, gotcha. It's an Italian dish. Oh, interesting. Panera's mac and cheese, it goated. Yes, you get that and you get the bread bowl. That's actually really good. Really high in carbohydrates, but it's really, really good. You fall asleep later, it's perfect. But yeah, over there they have a margarita pizza. It's a little bit different than your regular margarita pizza because instead of having full tomatoes, you have these little cherry tomatoes. Like, it's designed to be like something that you grab for yourself instead of just sharing with like a whole big party. You can either have it for yourself or you could probably share it with others. It's just the right amount of food for at least 1 to 2 people. It was very, very tasty. It was my introduction to margarita pizza and it left a good impression on me. That's kind of why I put Panera on there, because it's like a hidden gem in a way. What else? I'm waiting for you to say Olive Garden. Olive Garden. No! I forgot to put Olive Garden on there. Yeah, Olive Garden definitely has pizza. Honestly, oh no. Gold, you know why I forgot about it? It's because most of the time when I go over there, I go for like their Alfredo, their chicken Alfredo. That's like my favorite thing over there when I go over to Olive Garden. Really tasty stuff. Ah, but you're right. Dang, Olive Garden probably has some good pizza. I feel you, mate. My brain just decided to go offline at important times. Oh, yeah. My brain's like flying left and right. So it's a combination of that, and it's also getting closer to like 9 p.m. And then also, we're in VR chat. One thing that's very strange about VR chat is that it makes you very sleepy over time. But it's because I have an LCD like flat in my face right now. So because there's a whole bunch of stuff there, my eyes also get tired. I have not yawned yet because I have been talking instead. So you guys are lucky I haven't been going. We can make a pizza in VRC. I bet you could. That would be awesome. OMG, yes. Yup. The Gold was literally experiencing that a little bit earlier, just because he was actually on stream like a couple hours ago. Yeah. That sounds fun. Yeah. Have you ever heard of a game called Kitchen Cooks or Kitchen vs. Kitchen? In VR chat, you have something right there where you could either do like a pizza pie or hamburger or something like that. So you got a lot of diverse options. It's an old game, but it's a lot of fun if you just want to hang out with folks. Let's go to the next one. We're on Blaze Pizza. What's our next one? Chuck E. Cheese's. Chuck E. Cheese's. This is a very interesting one, but I put it on here because actually I wound up having lots of good experiences there when I was a very little kid. We have like old VHS tapes, like, well, not anymore. We have some DVDs that were converted from VHS that have us when we were like very little. We had like these little personalized birthday cakes, but they had pizza as well, which they had pepperoni, cheese, and all that stuff. I bring it up because it's very much a notable one that is actually out there in the Americas. You better explain your. That's hopefully I explained okay enough. But like, to be honest, like the reason why Gold is very hostile over there is because some people have very strong feedback about Chuck E. Cheese's. There has actually been rumors in the rumor mill going on about how like the pizza is like not quite high quality, or it's like reused pizzas. This is something that I wound up learning from game theory, so I'm ripping it straight out of that. But in the theory, it goes to say that essentially, like, if you're buying stuff from there, oh my goodness, Ashy! Hi, Ashy, it's good to see you! It's very good to see you! Much welcome, and thank you for the follow! It's very good to have you. How was your play date? I know you guys were hanging out in VR chat. I know Starcross actually wound up coming to pay a visit to you. How are things for you today? It's very good to... Hello there, welcome, thank you for the follow. It's Best Girls Delta. How are you doing today? Very good to meet everybody from Ashy's stream. I actually slammed my Kindle, that's my name. But normally I actually don't do streams like this. This is actually a debut / pilot of a Just Chatting series that we've been working on. It's been awesome. Cut to the chase, that seems to have been broken. Oh, I didn't have the module loaded. Hi Corpo, how are you doing? How are things going for you, buddy? I take it you were probably from their stream too. Pizza time. Pizza time! But yes, we've been doing a debut of this particular Just Chat stream. I think just based off of what we've been doing today, it's been a very successful one. I think we definitely want to do this sort of thing again. It's been great. But how was your stream? How was VR chat? Games was fun? That's awesome. That's awesome. What kind of games do you wind up doing in the VR chat? That's always a good time. Very interesting, look good, luck. Thank you. It's been doing very well actually so far. We've actually had a perfect amount of talking points. We're down to the very last amount, but once we're done with them, we're probably just gonna chat about whatever. That's kind of like the main part that's gonna be near the end. But yeah, for those who are just stopping in, VRC Ashy, we actually got to meet them straight from one of my favorite beans. Her name is Sixdon. But we got to know each other for a little bit, and we've played several games together at this point. But yeah, normally I do a lot of VR chat. I don't normally stream it, but in this case, we definitely want to try to do something like that again. I think this particular conversation has actually been a lot of fun to just do pizza. So I think whatever kind of conversations we want to do next, you guys can vote for the next one that happens over in our Discord server. It's Chillferno. So if you take a look at our profile down there, there should be a link over to Chillferno. If it doesn't work, just let me know. I can like correct it up. But down there, the second most anticipated one that people wanted to try was actually about cats. Well, for reasons, but that's actually one of the topics that we could do. We could talk about many other different ones, but we'll set up polls. I think it'll be a lot of fun to give that a try. You want to try 5 deep breaths? Oh gosh, did somebody redeem that and I didn't look? Oh, we could definitely do that. Oh, there we go. Yes, we'll do that. Thank you. Let's see what we got. I need to catch up with chat too. Eat testing me and kitty friendship. Oh my goodness. I didn't know that you and Ashley knew each other. That's pretty cool. Nope, I went to eat and watch something. Well, I'm glad you decided to stop by here. You got some good friends here that we're going to hang out with today. That reminds me, Kindle, how do you think this is going so far? Honestly, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying being able to talk with you guys. I feel like my mouth is starting to dry up a little bit, but besides that, I think we've been able to get some good conversations in for our first time. I'll ask you guys too, what you guys have been thinking about it, so we'll do that near the very end of the stream. Or you could say it right now, doesn't matter. Actually, it does matter. You know what I mean. I wonder why they want to talk about cats. Gee, I have no idea. Okay, we'll go ahead and do the 5 deep breaths. So this was designed so like if we needed to relax a little bit, it's actually a miracle because it feels like a new you when you wind up doing it. You guys can do it too. I'll close my eyes. If my eyes will close. There you go. Breathe number 1. Go out. The dynamic of this just changed completely. Breath number 2. And out. Number 3. And out. Number 4. And out. And number 5. And out. Oh, that feels good. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually on caffeine earlier. Like, actually, early in the morning. So, like, if my caffeine was still in my system, it probably has fully resonated now because we've been talking for, like, how long? Almost exactly 2 hours at this point. So, yes, thank you for the 5 deep breaths. That felt very good. Do you like cowboy hats? I love cowboy hats. Those are amazing. Oh my goodness. So Chuck E. Cheese's, there was a theory once that was actually distributed by Game Theory. It was like, when you go to Chuck E. Cheese's, is there a chance that you might wind up having used pizza from the counters? And the answer is actually no. So the interesting part about that is that it's based off of their pizza cutters. So you know those circular things that you roll and stuff. Those were actually designed to be child safe. That's why they have it. So let's say you have a kid that goes into the kitchen. They probably don't want to have some kind of liability if they're making their pizza. So, you know, if they do something that's not what they're supposed to do, you know, something like, that's not good. So I would imagine that it has to do with that. But essentially, it's a kid-safe pizza roller. Or sorry, pizza cutter is the answer to that question. Have a cowboy hat then? Oh my goodness, we'll do it. The best hat is boonie hat. What is a boonie hat? Boonie hat is freaking adorable looking on absolutely anything and anyone. Interesting. We'll swap over to that hat for you. Give me a second. Normally, if I'm using my Kindle avatar... Corpo, thank you for the follow! Okay, we'll get the hats. And thank you very much for the follow. You're an amazing person. You're an amazing individual. Bald. Cowboy hat. Howdy. Oh, thank you for the hydration. Hang on, give me a sec. Where's my water bottle? It's like right there. I might accidentally give you guys a kiss. Give me a second. Let me go over here. Thank you, Corpo. That was very helpful. Oh, I kind of needed that. My gosh. My eyes. Your eyes in a good way or a bad way? I was also the employee too, so they didn't cut themselves and use it for the bad instead. You're an employee of Chuck E. Cheese's. Oh, this is interesting. You're gonna have to tell me more about that later, Gold. Interesting. Oh no, the ball. That's right. That's right. That's right. Wide hat, wide. There do be white hat. I'm eating McDonald's. What are you having from McDonald's? That sounds pretty good. It's not bad. Hold on. Does you know what I looks like IRL? No, I don't think so. I don't think I know what you look like in real life. If you do do something like that, you would probably want to send it in DM, by the way. Probably not in like a Discord server. But no, not quite. Hold on. Does you know? Oh, no, blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, never mind. I misread that. Answer a question with the sour spray. Can you look up? Oh, gosh. You actually ran into a scenario again where like I haven't done a just chatting stream with this yet. So let me go get the other thing. I won't kiss you guys this time. Give me a second. Okay, here it is. I got the sour spray. I am holding my hand because I actually have to use my real hand to do this. Can you look up? It's best, girls. I can look up. Hang on. Wow, exciting, intriguing, beautiful taste. My voice is changing because I'm looking up for some reason. I'll put the sour spray in my pocket. Hopefully it doesn't like spritz or anything. There you go. Kiss you. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I can give you a boop. Give me a second. Easy, yes or no? Yes, I can look up. Oh no! The sour spray! Explain what is a goober. I will answer, but just a minute. I need to be able to have the sour spray. Wow, the sour spray of disappointment. Much exciting, very tasty. I am extremely excited about this. A goober is actually somebody who winds up being very funny. He is somebody who has levels off the charts that range from level 1 to level 50 according to my single source, which is the Corpo, who is also a cat. I told you. Okay, so where the heck? Okay, Chuck E. Cheese's. We went through Chuck E. Cheese's, but now we actually have a trivia question. We got some guys that were straight over from Ashy's raid. So here's how this works. we have ourselves a tricky trivia question, and it is very simple. All you have to do is answer A, B, C, or D with the following question that comes up. So we'll go ahead and let me adjust this properly. Next question. Okay, let's see if this properly works and doesn't crash my GPU again. Ghost kitchens are restaurants that make food for exclusively online restaurants. Chuck E. Cheese had one too. What was the name of the Chuck E. Cheese ghost kitchen? Accidentally got a bit too big, but there you go. Answer your question with A, B, C, or D. Is it not showing up? I think something crashed. I'll stare at the chat anyway. It seems like it's broken. My apologies. First time doing this with like all the things running at once. Luigi's. Yes, Luigi's. Okay, so what do we get? I'm gonna stare at this for a minute because it broke. But we have mostly D, D, C, C, B. It like broke. I apologize. It normally supposed to work. You guys got to see the broken version. C, C, D, Luigi's. We got... Surprising okay. You guys wound up getting interesting answers. However, there's actually a different answer. Pascali's. Pascali's was a restaurant targeted at adults. Why let perfectly good pizza only be eaten by kids? And that was all the questions. Congratulations, we got through the whole trivia. Kind of, until like broke for whatever reason. Chris, that would have been, yeah, that would have been an interesting one. I had to make that one up on the spot, so that one was an original one for you. But Pascali's, this is an interesting restaurant. Actually, I have a picture for it. Pascali's, it's a dead restaurant, so it doesn't exist anymore. But basically, I'll tell you what it was. It was a restaurant that used a lot of Chuck E. Cheese's pizza making system. So if you wanted to be able to have something from Pascali's, you could have that beautiful experience where you have the child-safe pizza cutters. So there's that, but they also have different flavors that were more specific to the adults. They also had Caesar salads just like Chuck E. Cheese and all that. So, I mean, you could have Chuck E. Cheese without actually going to Chuck E. Cheese. But you wouldn't know that, right? It's the actual kitchen that you would just order off of online. You wouldn't actually know that until you looked at the store. The store location was Chuck E. Cheese's. It was interesting. My bad, I chewed on the wires. Oh my gosh. There was a gremlin on the inside. Would you ever play FNAF another time? This is a quick question. Sure, we'll have to bring out the sour spray of disappointment. Wow, exciting, intriguing question. The answer is there could be a possibility, but to be honest, I don't think I want to do another one of those. However, there is something that recently got popular called Giggleland, which I'm kind of intrigued by as a result of the beautiful demo that is currently in Steam Fest. So, no guarantees, but I may check that out. Maybe not on a stream, but somewhere else. You guys like the sour spray of disappointment. Somebody liked it so much that they just wanted me to take it. What's... Wow, dang. Fine, we'll take another shot at the sour spray of disappointment. We'll go ahead and give ourselves another spray. Wow, exciting, intriguing, apparently so intriguing that we had another person just use the spray without having the answer question. Wow. Missed the FNAF stream? You can actually take a look at it. I have a link to the VOD over on YouTube if you want to take a look at that. So I can send that directly your way. It was actually really intense. Giggleland hype? It actually looks really cool. Giggleland is actually fascinating just in the sense that, like, the way that they're doing stuff for their ARG, so their alternate reality game. That's gonna be like really exciting. Just the fact that there have been so much uncovered, I tried to keep up with it a little bit because I was curious to see what was going on. And it gets really deep. It's such a really cool advertising platform if you do something like that. Fun fact too, Portal 2 actually had an ARG that you could actually dial in like a real life phone number, which is really cool. I want to take a look at how that ARG was like set up too. There's probably a YouTube video of it somewhere. It's funny. Funny is an interesting word for it, Ashy. Oh, the sour spray. Yeah, sour spray of disappointment. Wow. Yes, I've been keeping up with it. Oh, it's so cool. It's really cool. I see why Ashy in 6 videos on TikTok a lot. Oh, yeah. No, 6 is a good friend of Ashy. They've known each other for a good while, as far as I know. Yeah, Pascali's Ghost Kitchen. It's a very interesting type of kitchen there. I know that the concept of a ghost kitchen still exists. I remember there used to be something called Mr. Beast Burger. That was a very big one that came out. But essentially, it was like its own little kitchen. I don't remember what restaurant it was based off of, but that way you can just have like business. And while it's not necessarily the main menu items, it's this kind of stuff that the kitchen would still be able to offer, which is really wild. Mr. Beast! I have to go now. Goodbye, Kendall. It's been fun talking with you. Okay. It was good to see you, Car Nerd. Thank you for stopping by. I've been having a lot of fun with it, too. BRC Ashy, who is that? Oh my gosh. Google him. Oh no, so Mr. Beast is actually one of the most popular YouTubers out there, period. He actually surpassed PewDiePie with over 100 million subscribers. He's like the most subscribed individual YouTuber in the history of the world right now. The other YouTube channels that are currently like the most subscribed are, I believe, CoComelon and T-Series. Those have actually been quite interesting adventures. For every time that they've actually had a major, I guess, milestone in those subscriber counts, YouTube's actually given them like custom awards, which has been very fascinating to see every time. Because people are like, oh, what's this YouTube play button going to be like? It's not really play buttons, it's just more like little statues or whatnot. Dooba-dooba-dooba-dooba-doo. Good night! Did they remove the robots? I have no idea what the context of that would be. Only know German channels? Oh! Okay, gotcha. Yeah, T-Series, if I'm being honest, like, I wouldn't have known about it if it weren't for the fact that, like, back in 2017, PewDiePie was, like, taken over very slowly by T-Series. Like, it was back to back to back. Like, people were watching that for a long time. But I didn't know about it just because, like, it was a channel from an international area. It wasn't the Americas, so it was fascinating to see. At this point, I'm not really up to date as to, like, who's mostly subscribed, except for, like, Mr. Beast and those 3 big ones. I bet you at this point it's probably changed a lot since then. Wait, the dude who said the bad thing on the bridge? The bridge? Was there... There might have been some kind of controversy with Mr. Beast. I don't remember for sure. But he's still kicking. It was? Oh, dang. Dang. Okay. That's something else then. Okay. I need to go back and understand what that controversy was. That was crazy. My gosh. Oh, no. PewDiePie? He said the thing on it. I'm confused. Okay, well, that's a new controversy. I know Mr. Beast has also been in a controversy at least once. They all have. You don't want to get into that kind of thing. It's not good. If you're a YouTube creator, at least. You don't want to get into a controversy and get wrapped up in that sort of thing. Scary stuff. It's the other dude, not Mr. Beast. PewDiePie? Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, Pascali's. That was the Ghost Kitchen. I wish it was something that was still around. It was pretty funny. Oh, no, story time. Okay, you ready? Got a story. Got a story for Pascali's. I wanted to try it once because like they have they have like a Chuck E. Cheese's that's like close by to where I was. So I was like, oh, this would be really cool. What if we got to try Pascali's instead of Chuck E. Cheese's? So I tried to order some pizza, and it said that your mileage was a bit too far away from your house. I was like, dang it, that's the only Chuck E. Cheese that's around. So then I had a thought. What if you set the same address as the location of the Chuck E. Cheese? So I went in and I tried to type that in. I said, hey, can I just pick it up from here? that was my way to go reverse. Gotta go by. All right, Corpo, thank you for stopping by. It was good to see you for a little bit. So you probably shouldn't do that, by the way, because they relied solely on like food delivery services. So think something like Grubhub or something else. You can do something like that, but I'll get to that in a minute why you shouldn't. So I was thinking about it, and then I was like second guessing. No, wait, this doesn't sound right. What if something goes wrong? So I tried to call Chuck E. Cheese's, and I got left with an answering machine. It sounded like a guy that you would probably hear if you were listening to a Chuck E. Cheese commercial. He goes, hey guys, welcome to Chuck E. Cheese's. This is a really cool opportunity to get yourself set up with whatever it was. I don't know what it was. But I was listening to that and I was like, can I speak to a human? So I managed to find a different phone number, I think. I was talking to him. I was like, hey, so this is what happened, and they were like so confused about what I was trying to explain. So I just decided to go over there. I go over there and I take the highway, I make it, and as I'm over there, there's actually another guy over there. He's like right next door. The guy goes, hey, how's it going? I go, oh, it's going good. Are you picking up pizzas? And he goes, yeah. Are you picking up my pizza? And he said, yeah, I saw your order. So he's like right there, and like he said, I saw the message, and it was an interesting conversation because he was like, I'm gonna see if I can pick it up. And he said, oh yeah, no, that's fine. But here's the thing, he's totally comfortable with it because he's just sort of paid to stand there. So if you do something like that, yeah, he gets a good compensation for just not doing really anything. But to be fair, he was more than fine with it because he actually had some other orders that he was doing at the time. So he was like, oh, okay, we'll go ahead and just stand there. I'll just go grab the other pizzas and you can just leave with yours. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe if you want to give people some free money, perhaps. It is an interesting experiment, though. I wanted to give that a try. We returned home with Pascali's pizza. We gave it a shot. It was good. It was like Chuck E. Cheese's pizza, but a little bit different. Then Pascali's died at the end. So there you go. Get your pizza in under. Yep, the delivery was great. Sent it to the same address. It just goes zoop. There you go. Pretty easy. But there you go. That's the story of like, well, you can try to set your Pascali's pizza to the same location. You can just go get it, but you do get an upcharge because you're paying a guy to just stand there. So, FYI, I don't know if you necessarily want to do that. Okay. Do I have any other pizza restaurants that we have talked about yet? Okay. We got a couple more, and I think there's one that leaves with a very good message at the end. It's a thumbs up. Okay. So this next one is something called Cholosky's. What about Chuck E. Cheese? We actually covered Chuck E. Cheese earlier. It's right here. Yes, Chuck E. Cheese. Lots of good memories. We got to play in the arcades quite a bit. I think one of my favorite memories is actually playing with the Mario Kart machine that was over at our Chuck E. Cheese. You could combine 2 Mario Kart arcade machines together and you'd have some good multiplayer sessions with your friends. They did a couple other interesting things too. Like there was one called Flamin' Fingers. So your goal was to go through a maze as fast as you could and get to the end. You get a lot of tickets if you got rewarded with that, which I didn't really win most of the time. I don't think I ever won that one. That was a hard one. The rat is hot, not gonna, oh gosh. Not if you look at the 90s one. I don't have a pictures of the 90s Chuck E. Cheese guy. He doesn't quite look like what you're expecting. I don't know if that's weird to say. While you're hanging out with a whole bunch of furries, it's understandable. What's it? Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese, good place. I have a lot of good memories there. Gold hates it. Apparently, it sounded like he might have worked there too. I want to hear more about that. So that's Chuck E. Cheese's. There is no more pictures after this. Blah. But another place is called Schlossky's. This one's also from my childhood because whenever we would finish up our children's choir on Sunday, my mom would take us all as like really small kids, like 3 to 6 years old. That's how old we were. She would take us there and she would go, "Hey, we want some three cheese pizza combos or something like that," and she would give us some pizza. It's these little small things. It's like the size of maybe 1 to 2 slices of regular pizza. But what I learned later as I was doing some very light research on this is that Schlossky's is not a pizza restaurant. It's a deli. So if you end up getting stuff over there, you get more sandwiches, if anything, really. But they do offer the pizza option, and we actually wound up getting some pretty good cookies over there. The 90s one is creepy. I mean, to be honest, that's probably what they based the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics on. That's more than likely what it was. Fun fact about Chuck E. Cheese too, I actually recently heard about this, but they also had like a space gang that they were going to do. It was wild because they had animatronics all like set up and they were doing a proposal on it. Like it was designed to be like a mid-range, like older kid to teenager audience. It never wound up getting the ground needed from like investors, and it wound up being the downfall of the animatronics companies that were putting together those sort of things outside of Chuck E. Cheese, which is crazy. What's a deli, like Subway? Oh yeah, that's kind of what it was, is. A deli is basically like a Subway, but delis in general, they do have the ability to offer different types of sandwiches that are like that. I think another one that's, I'm not sure if it's like local or otherwise, we have something called a Firehouse. That's also like a deli. But they're pretty good. You get sub sandwiches over there. That would have been so cool. Oh yeah, it was wild too because I think they tried to recycle a lot of the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. They had like a whole bunch of like alien characters there. So you have things where like they retrofitted it with bigger heads, and then they had more sophisticated animatronic styles, which is really wild. It's unfortunate because it was technology that was even more cutting edge than just the Chuck E. Cheese band. It's unfortunate that it never wound up coming into play. Another thing that I recently heard about too is that it seems like they've been taking Chuck E. Cheese animatronics out of a lot of the restaurants, which is really sad. I think in some areas, I think specifically in California, they still have some of those left that still have the animatronics. It's crazy. It's like the end of the era. Hello, how are you doing? Oh my goodness. You guys know each other. This is interesting. Maybe, possibly. What else? Yeah, that seemed to be quite a bit of information about the animatronics from there. Look, I know I don't do a lot of FNAF, but like I am interested in a lot of technology stuff, so I'll wind up talking about that. What else? Wait, what animatronics? Oh gosh. So Kyber, a little while back, they were going to have another type of pizza restaurant outside of Chuck E. Cheese's. Basically, it was going to be alien themed. It was going to be geared towards young teenagers. It was fascinating, but investors actually wound up not getting enough like interest in it, and it wound up causing that company to fall through. Speaking of FNAF, a new FNAF game recently called FNAF Secrets of the Mimic. Wait, what? Interesting. There's gonna be new theories coming out for that. Kindle, I got off VRC. Ah, okay. Well, welcome back, Star. About to give you the ropes on how the moderation system works. It's very good to see you, buddy. Oh, actually, no, funny fact is that Ashley's actually rated out over here, so there you go. Good coincidence. Where is my hug at FR? Oh, goodness. Would you be able to VC stream after stream now? Not necessarily, because we're actually going to be talking to Starcross a little bit later. But if there is time afterwards, that may be a possibility. The Mimic is so good. Oh, dang. Oh, he typed in so much gibberish that he made a link. This is exciting. I think the keyboard had a stroke. Yeah, it kind of did. So we talked about Shalosky's. There's also one, I don't know if I put it in my bullet points, but there's something called Mr. Gaddy's. Did I put it in there? I did not. That's a surprise. Mr. Gaddy's. That's a pretty good one. I'm cute. Much thanks. When it comes to Mr. Gaddy's, that's a good restaurant. So it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's Chuck E. Cheese's, but it's more like a general audience arcade / pizza place. So you go there, I think they have like a buffet of choices that you can go and have. And then they also have that dessert pizza, which I actually brought up earlier. Let me bring some pictures back. Wait for it. Wait for it. That's 3D pizza. Cheez-It pizza. Dessert pizza. Here they are. So these are the two different types of pizzas that they have over there. They have the s'mores pizza and they have the cinnamon pizza. The sour spray of disappointment. Eh? Hey, Kindle, you might not like what I'm going to do. Oh, you're going to have the sour spray of disappointment. Dang, they have such an enthusiasm for something that's quite unfortunate. Wow, very exciting. Not sour at all. Exquisite. Amazing for a time. Miss the dessert pizza talk? Well, that's one thing that's kind of interesting. You can call just about everything a pizza, right? It's fascinating just because, like, you don't have, like, the same ingredients as your typical pizza. But it's pretty nice. If you have something like this cinnamon pizza, it's very good in the mouth. You wind up having these little pieces that break off instead of just like your regular slices. S'mores pizza, I've never had it before, but I would imagine it's kind of something like the same thing. They're kind of like chunked into blocks. But those are the kind of things that you can get over at Mr. Gaddy's. It's Soup! Hi, Soup! It's good to see you! How are things going for you today? Hope things have been going well. We've been talking a lot about pizza over here, to the point where my mouth got very dry. I have 1.4 thousand points. Oh gosh. Guess what that means, hey? What? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Hi Bean, I just went on break. Oh, nice. Well, it's good to see you on break. It's always good to have you around. My goodness. It's been a very big conversation today. It's been a lot of fun. Oh yeah, no, oh no. No, you don't you Kool-Aid man mean oh yeah. Oh gosh. He's gonna try, isn't he? No. 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 They keep going, no, they keep saying yes. You get the reference? No. We're gonna look away. We're gonna look away for a minute. Yeah, dessert pizza. That's pretty good. Over at Mr. Gaddy's, it's like essentially an arcade buffet combo. Not like Chuck E. Cheese. It's just a little bit different. But you go over there. I think they have like a birthday party fee. I was taking a look at that, and they have some very good options overall. They also have a very small arcade that you can hang out with. I don't remember if they offered tokens or not. I think when we were playing with it, they had What was it? They had quarters. You had to put quarters in there. But overall, it's pretty good. 600 more. Dang, I got out by a scratch. Oh my gosh. Could you give me 600 more? I don't think that's how it works, Kyber. The points are non-transferable, unfortunately. Or I guess fortunately in my case. And if you want to get more points, there are options such as, subscribing to the channel. That's one option. Or even following the channel if you haven't done that, which I'm 99% sure you've already followed, so you already got those points. So following, subscribing, or even giving somebody else a sub winds up actually increasing your point total. Kindle, as soon as Ashy started to stream, I spent so many points on their bikini redeem. Should I get the femboy redeem or bunny costume redeem next time? Oh gosh. I'd be kind of curious to see what the bunny costume would look like. Golly. But there you go. I think that's almost every single one that has been covered, except that there is one more, all right? This one's more of a trick one, but it's your local one. Your local food stop is actually a very important one because it's actually really hard to start a business like that. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Here, give me a second. Let me go ahead and do that. Ugh. That actually helps so much. You have no idea. Oh gosh. Bunny custom. Ha ha ha. Oh gosh. What is your take on Pizza Hut? Pizza Hut's pretty good. I haven't had a whole lot of Pizza Hut, but you know what they have? Let me flip through some of these right here. They had this thing at one point, Cheez-It Pizza. I really like this one. I wish they would bring it back, but that was one of their best that they've ever had, in my opinion. Basically, what you have there is like a pizza with a basic crust on the outside, but on the inside you have very gooey cheese. You can have the marinara sauce. It's like right there. Really, really good stuff. Rain of Ash. Hello there, Rain of Ash. It's very good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day so far. The way I had just pulled up the hydrate redeem. Thank you. I appreciate it. My throat has actually been getting pretty dry because I've been talking for a hot minute. Looks like you snapped your neck for a sec. Oh gosh, I wouldn't be surprised. I just had Pizza Hut this weekend. Nice. Have you ever had cotton candy flavored soda? I have not. That's a new one. It's interesting to hear. I'll have to give that a try sometime. Bro, that sounds good actually. Oh yeah, no, that sounds amazing. You should try German bread, it's so good. I have not, would be worth trying out. There's actually, now that you mention it, I remember having something called like a challah bread. I don't know if I fully remember the full thing, but it's like if you braided bread and then you baked in the oven. I think that's challah bread. It's very fascinating. Spoiler, it's delicious. Interesting. Well, it's good that you're doing all right. It's good to have you here. What brings you here to our Just Chatting session? I guess perhaps the pizza? Cotton candy soda or the German bread soda? Yeah, the soda. Soda sounds great. Where was I? Oh yeah, so local food stops. You should absolutely support those. If you want to know why, I'll give you a little bit of a story just from my side. When it comes down to it, my father's also like a pizza connoisseur. He basically would go every other like month or so. He would take us to a pizza restaurant, and he would find all these different options. We had one that was next to our Dollar Theater, and it was really, really good. But after some time, they eventually closed down shop. What happened thereafter? I mean, we searched for more. We found other different restaurants that offered very good New York style pizza. It's probably why it just sort of bled onto me. I really like New York pizza. but those things wound up being very tricky, especially this one in particular that I'm thinking about. This one started as a very good place when I graduated back in 2018 or so. I think it was that. Yeah, 2018. Graduated 2018. We went there. It was very good. They had very big pizzas there too. Like we got like their biggest order. It was amazing. But then eventually, as time progresses, that place closes. Another place opens. And then that one also closes. And then it opens again. And now this is at least its third or fourth iteration upon a different pizza restaurant. So if you're getting the vibes here, that's probably within the span of at least 7 years of like different pizza restaurants in that one spot. It's unfortunate just because it's very difficult to actually keep something like that maintained. Let's see, I'm gonna take a look at the chat for a minute. Cotton Candy Faygo is peak. Dang, I'll have to give that a try. You guys have actually recommended so many different stuff in this particular stream. I have to go like take a look at the chat after everything and just take a look and see like what recommendations are there. It's crazy. German bread is the best just because I'm German does not mean I'm biased for Faygo was in my jam as a kid. Oh, nice. My gosh. But yeah, if you wind up going to a pizza restaurant, I highly recommend just supporting the ones that are around your local area. I find that like incredibly important just because it is very hard to keep a business like that running. We actually have at least 2 to 3 that are already nearby where I live. And so I try to go there as often as I can just to make sure they're able to stay within business. It's very fun too because it's very community built. If you were to recall some of the history that we were talking about earlier, a lot of this pizza was actually street food, right? Started like that basically in the ancient times. Then it started as like the poor man's food, in air quotes, as like the lower class in the medieval times. Move on to New York. You get pizza by the slice for about 5 cents or even 60 cents. And in those scenarios, it's still street food. You get the pattern here? So in this case, it's something that is very community founded. Just about everything about pizza in general winds up being like that. So if you are able to support a local group, you get a little bit of a benefit of that. Because these days, if you're in the suburbs, you don't get to socialize a lot. You get to talk to these guys. These guys know their stuff and they enjoy what they do. So if you can talk to them and enjoy it, like treat it like your hair salon if you really want to. It's one of those things you can just talk about their experiences with putting pizza together, and they'll give you very interesting things to talk about. Oh goodness. Cut to the chase. Oh, just to do it. Yeah, I think the modules are a little bit broken. I'll have to probably, well, it's 1 point, but yeah. Strawberry Fanta is a good soda. Yes, Fanta Strawberry. That's one of my favorites. That's a good choice, by the way. Again, the same thing. Your hat was placed in queue. There is about... The hat queue system is still going, even though that was for the Kindle. Whoop. Which one did you pick? Hang on, let me take a look. Oh, it's all cut to the chase. Yeah, so normally, for context, my avatar on stream is typically like an e-reader kind of thing. So when you're using something like that, it has an automatic hat system. In VR chat, that's not something that I have. It's just, I have my avatar and that's it. Is there a time limit? Normally, yes. Normally, yes, because it would be a completely different avatar system. In this case, I thought I would bring it up just because I have at least 3 different hats that you can pick from. So I was like, oh, okay, we might as well just use that. That's all cut to the chase. Okay, just making sure. Get the spray ready. We gotta fire up the sour spray of disappointment. Fine, we'll take it out of the pocket. We'll make sure we use the sour spray. Wow, exciting, flabbergasting, entrancing. Anyway, go support your local food stops. Those are gonna be the most amazing type of pizza that you can get, and they're gonna have their own original style too. Like if you ever go to like one of the regular big restaurants, you know, like if you go to Pizza Hut or Marco's or anything like that, they're gonna have their own unique style. But you go to one of these local areas, they have their own style, just because they're building it out of the love of their own craft. And especially too, you can find some New York style stuff too. Like I don't know how many restaurants, honestly, that are the major ones that don't have like a New York style. That's the crazy part. I feel like I associate New York style with like really good custom joints. So if you can find them, that's actually one of the best places that you can go to. Support your local food stops. You can make your own pizza. It's all good stuff. How long have you had the sour spray of disappointment? I've had it for a little while. It's been lasting a very long time. One of the things that Kyber was trying to redeem earlier was the sour fruit. When I was trying to search for like something to replace my spicy jelly beans, that was going to be one of the things I wanted to try. I wanted to try to do something sour. So I tried to get a sour spray. It was over at our candy shop, and it was really lame. It didn't really act as I was hoping, so I made it a redeem anyway, and so now you have the sour spray of disappointment. But actually the really intense stuff is something called Final Boss Sour. That essentially has like levels of like 1 to 3 as of the packaging that I have. And it has a big range of fruit. You got like strawberries, blueberries, and then you have cranberries. At least those are the 3 ones that I remember. So you have those, and depending on which level it is, it gets progressively more sour. I forgot about Little Caesars. The pizza. The pizza. It's quite good. Get more of the spicy meatball jelly bean. I may go back to the spicy jelly beans once I actually finish up the sour candy, or sorry, sour fruit. Kindle, have you tried Dot's Pizza? I don't think so. I don't think I've heard of Dot's Pizza. It sounds interesting. Golly, there's so many different types of choices that you can pick from. Do you personally like Dot's Pizza? Is it any good? Oh my gosh. AKA pure spiciness. My gosh, those were intense. This is 9, this is 8, this is 7. Oh my gosh. I need to probably set a limiter on that. Dang, man. I immediately thought of the Dots gumdrops and pizza in like, huh? Oh, Dots Pizza. I'm a little bit confused. You'll have to help me get some clarification on that. I'm a little bit confused on what that means. There is 4, also Dots Pizza is good. Oh my gosh. Let me hit the stop on the presentation because we ran out of pictures. This is 2. Holy cow. What the heck? You're gonna make that thing go on for like half an hour. Gosh dang it, I got more points. You know you can save up for something more productive, right? Oh gosh. If you wind up hanging on some other streams, I'm gonna do some more streams like probably this week. But there's a lot more redeems that I'll typically turn on, but since it's VR chat, this is a very different kind of circumstance. 10. Kindle, forgive me, I have more points. Ah! But hey, as I was saying, we actually ran out of points. We did it, guys! We got through the whole thing! We got through all the pizza! Woo! This is the point where, hang on, how much time do we got? We got like 15 minutes. I wasn't expecting to go on for this long, but we could talk about whatever we want at this point. Got 15 minutes to just relax and have some fun. Well, yes, how about we summarize a little bit? Pizza is a very interesting thing, right? You get something that has been community made first and foremost. It's something that's absolutely beautiful. started from 600 BC and wound up traveling through time to create something that's actually really, really good. It's something that has been mended over the time between different countries, different cultures, even stuff like Italy, Spain, America, Europe, and all those changes wound up being for the good. Eventually, you wound up getting pizza that's street food. You get stuff that's about 5 cents, 60 cents a slice. And overall, you get a system that not everybody really personally enjoys because it's easily accessible. It's something you can put a lot of different types of food on as toppings, and you can enjoy it as a big old group. It's also been quite commoditized too, because now you can have things like frozen pizza, or even stuff like Papa Murphy's, like that was previously mentioned. You get things where you can actually have a pizza nearly ready to go, but you just go bake it in the oven. So many different ways to make pizza. You can even make one yourself. Those kind of pizzas are some of the best because you learn what kind of style that you personally like, what kind of crust that you want, what kind of toppings. Winds up creating your own sort of personality within the pizza. Happy New Year's! And now it's time for VC and Discord. After Starcross and I talk, specifically Kyber, as previously mentioned. What's your opinion on banana artichoke fish melt? What? I've never heard of that before. That's probably my answer. I've never heard about that sort of thing before. That's a new thing. Or a garlic, cilantro, pomegranate sausage. What in the world are those things? What the heck? Or glazed cilantro oyster chili. What in the world? It seems like one of those things where you would like put an autocorrect and there it is. The boot pizzas are the best. Oh. But Kindle, every stream I see you do, I'm only using my points for... Well, there's a little something called a limiter. I'm just gonna let you know. Golly. But actually, if you do come to some future streams, you'll be able to actually see the avatar that I typically use. It's like a square rectangle. It's a Kindle e-reader from like 10 years ago or more at this point. It's only like 13 years ago. But that's got like a ton of different hats. You'll love that one. For 75 points, you can put on a random hat and it does like this little roulette thing. Goes. But I think you would personally like that because it's got a lot more options than just the 3 that I have. Forehead kit. Aw, blah, blah. You're sweet bean soup. I did work on Pizza Hut. Nice, that's cool. Got a lot of people working at Pizza Hut. Okay, they enjoyed it. Sour spray disappointment. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Wait, more hats? Yeah, I've got more hats. Here, let me take a look. So, both on VR chat and on my typical like PNG tuber that I'll typically use on streams. So, this one is my cowboy hat, but I also have a bowler hat. That's one I don't have like a reward for. I don't know if I'll put that together, but this is one that I'll have in VR chat once in a while. This one, I have a top hat. Ta-da! Kindle, I have bad news and good news. What do you want first? Give us the bad news, please. Also, the fedora. This is the one that I started out with, but this is typically what I'll wear mostly in VR chat. I also have different glasses too. You guys want to see? Aside from these glasses, I have aviators. Probably pretty good for this kind of weather. What else? We have my Ferality Somna badge. I may have to actually take this one off just because, like, it doesn't... I recently tried to update my avatar, and I actually hit, like, the maximum compressed size for Quest, and so that's a problem. I wasn't able to put this on for Quest. Something went wrong. I need to figure out what was going on with it. I'll put my glasses back on. Feels kind of bare without it. Kindle, I have... Oh, okay. I'm going to have to spend points on the thing. Really? And the good news is that I have enough points for the... What the heck? Ay. Okay, so other clothes that we have. Let's see some other things. So here's something that I don't use, but it is on my avatar. Headphones. I bet you guys probably have never seen this before. They're very confusing, but yes, they fit on my ears. Somehow, my ears are like flying in the air, and somehow this manages to like go up here. It's 10. It's 10. I am forgetting my own point totals. Ready to count down with me? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to put a limiter on that. Okay. What else do we got? We have a bracelet. It is what it is. What else do we got? Oh, well, that's my belt. I should probably keep that on. I also have shoes, although I can't really show you the shoes because of the way that my thing is mounted and stuff. I would ask personally though that we probably don't do like cut to the chase all that much, just because it's like it does spam the chat quite a bit. I'll probably have to wind up actually putting some kind of limiter on that. What else? Boom. Items. What is an items? Oh yeah. Okay, so if I do this, I'm probably gonna lag my computer, but I'll show it anyway. Oh no, never mind. Give me a sec. This is my sword. Yeah, no, I'm gonna lose all my frames, but this is a sword that I actually got from a friend named Okami. He does streaming too. It's pretty fun. It looks a lot more yellow here in the world just because like of the landscape and stuff. But typically if you have more of like a bluish tint to your light, then it looks a little bit different than that. So up it goes. No, you're good. My goodness. We went through the whole thing. We talked about pizza. And we're doing random things right now. It was good to hang out with you guys. I honestly had a good time. But actually, let me ask you a question directly, because it seems like most of you guys are still there. How was this? How was this experience? Because I've never done something like this before, but I'm genuinely curious, because I want to try to do something like this again, maybe. What are your thoughts? Also, the lo-fi is a vibe. What were your thoughts? What exactly would you want to see out of a stream like this? Yee. Oh my goodness. Loved hanging out and listening to all the pizza facts. Yay! Amazing. Enjoyed it. I liked hanging out and just chatting. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad. I'm genuinely glad. I think this is a fun one to try to do. I've never done it before, but to be honest, I think this is something that could definitely work out. It's one of my favorite things to do, if I'm being honest. I just like to chat like a heck of a lot in VR chat. I'm gonna tell you something that I'm very guilty of, okay? I have like over 1,400 hours in this game, so I have a talking addiction if that's not clear enough. So if we want to do something like this again, I think it would be a lot of fun if we want to do something like that. Reign of Ash, thank you so much for the follow. It was awesome to have you in the stream today. Really appreciated talking to you guys a lot. I had a great time. It was good when I get to watch. That's awesome, buddy. And pretty soon we'll be able to learn the ropes of the moderation system too. I think that'll be good. My gosh. There's a lot of different things that I was thinking about potentially when trying to do a stream like this. I had different topics that could potentially go even deeper than this. So pizza is something of a much wider topic, but I was thinking even like narrowing it down to even more specific niches. I'd have to look specifically at my Trello board as to like which ones there are, but they could even get into like, what's it? Just psychology stuff too, if we ever wound up doing something like that. Oh, the deep breath. Be like a VR chat podcast. Oh my goodness. You know, I want to actually like get Joker fired up to do something like that too. So he tried to do like a furry podcast at some point. He actually had me and Axel Silverfang on as guests. We got to talk about our experiences as a furry, even though we're Christians and straight in the fandom. So it was a very interesting talk. It's over on Axel's channel if you ever want to give that a shot. It was a very cool concept, but you gotta go and budge Joker to do more of that stuff, because I think the last time that he did it, it was for FWA for last year, and that was his last one. He needs to bring it back. It was a really cool series. You want to be in the podcast? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you need to convince him. You need to convince him to do it. Actually watch a little. Nice! Oh, wait a minute. Was that because... That was because you probably saw the one that Fenrir was in, wasn't it? Yes. I do remember that one. Before I have... Let's take a deep breath. Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Oh, cookie point. I have to be held a cookie point. Oh gosh. Oh yeah. No worry, I remember that. Okay, 5 deep breaths. I'm gonna close the eyes. Breath 1. Breath number 2. Exhale. Breath 3. Exhale. Breath 4. Exhale. And one more. Exhale. That felt good. Appreciate that. That was very nice. That's awesome. I appreciate the feedback. I truly do. If there's any topics that you guys want to do, I have a Discord server that's down below. It's Chillferno. It's that little ice cube with a fire inside of it. If we do one for another time, I'm thinking about making this like a potentially a monthly series, depending on like how often we want to do stuff. But we'll cast votes. We'll cast votes and do it again. I think this would be a lot of fun. Next one that might potentially happen is probably about cats, more than likely, for reasons, I guess. But aside from that, we'll have like another vote that happens, and depending on what folks want to hear about, we'll definitely give that a shot. And even if it's not on the voting, suggest something, like totally, completely. It would be something that would be worth diving into based off of topics you guys want to hear about. It doesn't have to be something simple, by the way. It could be something extremely complex. Like, I love advanced topics as well. It could be all about programming. It could be about Windows, Mac, and Linux. It could even be about psychology. Like, I love psychology a lot. Like, I like thinking about even stuff like neurodivergence. It's a very fascinating thing to learn about. So, be wide range. It could be about pizza. It could be about something very complicated. Or we could even deep dive into a specific word. Specific words wind up actually being fascinating too. If you go into like icebergs of things like that, it actually is a very fascinating adventure if you figure out the nuances of a word and how people understand it. So lots of options. I think this would be really cool if we wind up doing something like this more often. Need to be there? That sounds like a good plan. If you need a link for that, by the way, I can let you know. But you'd be more than happy to like jump into Chillferno if you want to do that. That's the name of the server. Chillferno is the Discord server. Also too, if you need like a link to Chillferno as like a VRC group, sometimes we wind up doing events there as well. It's something we haven't done in a while, but totally up in the cards if we do something like that again. Make a one jump redeem. we can jump right now, but cats. What's bringing up cats? Gee, I have no idea. You know, that's a good. Anyway, yes. Maybe join you for some of them. I think absolutely. So that's one of the things I was thinking about quite a bit, and something that Star brought up, because I actually was putting on my headset today, and I left this to like go do stuff, and the Star was actually in the world because I forgot to set myself on red. He was like, I want to be in one. So I was like, you know, I think it would make sense to bring in some guests at one point. There would be some criteria though if we did do something like that. I think one, if you were like a specialist inside the field that you want to talk about, go right ahead. I think this would be something that like we could collaborate and do stuff together, or we could just talk about whatever. It'd be fun. We'll have to think about some kind of format behind it. I know for sure Star was definitely legit interested in doing something like that, so it would be awesome. Pizza! Yes, Jimmy. Hello, Jimmy! Jimmy! You know, there's this really cool guy that actually suggested putting this together. He looks like this. He's a very smart guy. So, also, guys, you see the Jimmy? You see this? This is the guy that brought you this stream today. I'm telling the truth, all right? You got to give this guy some kudos, okay? He's the one that actually suggested doing this. Been thinking about doing a podcast of sorts for years, but this never happened. You should. I think it'd be worth it. You know, I think with what we're doing with other projects, I showed you how Trello works a little bit. I think you would definitely enjoy doing something like that once you get the hang of things. You've got a framework that's ready to go if you ever want to give that a shot. Just replace like whatever you're doing right now with the podcast thing, and yeah, there you go. Yes, there you go. Give him the kudos. Yes, that is a beautiful picture of him. That is the gym. Be sure to give him some good kudos. He started the idea. I was thinking about doing something of some kind of caliber, but you know, to be honest, his idea was actually very effective. You know why? Because basically it said just do it. On my Trello board, the master Trello board that I have for all my projects, it was on the very bottom to do something similar. But because it was something that, you know, we already have the assets and stuff ready to do, why not just go for it, right? So that was his kind of mentality for what he was doing. So I said thank you for him, and then he said, "You're welcome." Something like that, in that kind of voice. Talk about pizza? We talked about pizza! You're at the very tail end of the stream, buddy. We can give you a summary, though, of what we talked about. So, pizza wound up starting as early as 600 BC. You wind up having this amazing thing that wound up being created by some people that were in the army, right? So they had flatbread, cheese, and dates. That was the first kind of pizza that was kind of created. And they would use their shields to actually have a means of eating that kind of pizza. You should talk about pizza. Oh gosh, I was talking to soup. Oh. Over time, this kind of pizza wound up being a street food overall. Is something that like middle class, lower class wound up eating just because it was easy to put together. It even helped them even further in Europe because tomatoes wound up being a very crucial point for actually making some very good pizza. Then over in New York, you have pizza that was sold for 35, 60 cents per slice. Still considered street food, but still really good. And then my mind goes blank. There's actually even more advancements, such as 3D printed pizza. 3D printed pizza is actually really cool, and it was sponsored by NASA in order to have astronauts be able to have good quality food when they're out and doing their missions. What else? Creating your own pizza is also really good, and supporting your local food chain, not just the popular ones, but the ones that are local, is some of the best things that you could possibly do to make sure that the pizza business continues in the most organic form. But not joining sooner, was hanging out much, dead for father. Rightfully so. This was kind of a weird time to actually do a schedule. I was kind of worried about that, to be honest, but I'm really happy that we got to talk. I enjoyed it a lot. There will be a VOD for it later, by the way, if you want to check that out. That's a thing now. Yes, 3D printed pizza is absolutely a thing. It's crazy. You want to see a picture of it? Give me a second. So there's the Jim. Let me go here. Let me phase through all the pictures. I'm amazed that OBS has survived this whole time. It's a miracle. There it is. There's 3D printed pizza for you. It's in the shape of a heart. It's cool. They're hoping to maybe get it out by 2030. feel like I just jumped 70 years into the future. Yeah. If you want to look it up yourself, it's actually created by a company called BHEX. Those are the guys that are currently helping NASA out for 3D printed pizza. It's wild stuff. But yeah, there you go, Jimmy. That's kind of like the overall emphasis of what we were trying to work with. We'll have a VOD for it, for sure. In fact, guys, I'm going to tell you a secret, okay? I have a YouTube channel. Not just I Send My Kindle, but there's one that I have not done anything with yet. But I might just soon. It is called The Black Hat Cat. If you guys wind up checking it out, I'll try to like send a link later in Chillferno or something. Somewhere, I don't know where I'm going to put it. But it'll have this VOD somewhere. And that way, if you want to take a look, you totally can. Ooh, woo. I missed some context. Give me a second. Gonna watch the VOD for dessert pizza. Oh, yeah. Dessert pizza is good. If you want to get dessert pizza specifically, that's going to be over at Mr. Gaddy's. At least that's the one that was pictured earlier. So let me go back over to the dessert pizza. Cheez-It pizza, Cheez-It pizza. There's dessert pizza. Dessert pizza's good. Send it to me for real. Yeah, I'll try to put a link down. It's like in my notes right here for BHEX. So I should be able to just send something over really quickly. Kindle, I'll see you later. It was good to see you, his best girl. Thank you for stopping by. I think without further ado, I really enjoyed talking with you guys. I feel like I could talk for a long time. But at the same time, I gotta make sure that my breath is able to keep on going. What time is it? Good grief. 10:08 p.m. Oh, that's a shame. It's bedtime. It's really close. It's about 20-something minutes away. Hate saying that. I was literally kicking my feet down there if you didn't. Yeah. But, yeah, it is what it is. I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you guys want to stick around, we'll go ahead and try to raid to somebody real quick. See if we can do that. Let's go to twitch.tv. Who do we got? Oh, we got the Cheese Beagle. You guys want to go see Cheese Beagle? Let me make sure I remember the name correctly. Cheese Beagle. Okay. Let me click on their thing. Okay. And then let's go ahead and type in their name. Can't redeem but hydration station right now. Thank you. I'll do that like after the stream here. Let me go ahead and grab to my keyboard. Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and raid over to the Cheese Beagle. They are an awesome creator. They do a lot of things like art and just chatting as well. They're kind of within the same wheelhouse, although I don't know if they do like the same structure as we just did, but it was awesome. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you wind up seeing Cheese Beagle, be sure to send him some love your way. Alright. See you guys later. Thank you guys for stopping by.